Hello everyone, this is your friend from Naruto Audio Fanfics, and we are back once again with a brand new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto Uzumaki received a brother's gift that changed his destiny with Hinata Hyuga, Ino and Sakura Haruno, Part 3. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to hit the like button, thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing Naruto fanfics like this. So without wasting any more time, let's start today's fanfic. Hinata was standing in front of the door. She came all the way here to settle an issue that had to be answered and mediated on with no further misunderstandings. Sighing, she said, "It's now or never." She knocked on the door and waited for a reply. A few moments later, the door unlocked and opened, revealing the very Junin that Hinata came by to see. "Hinata," the tenant said in surprise. "Ryota," Hinata answered back politely. It's been a couple of days since Hinata and Ryota last spoke to each other. Ryota missed her association with Hinata, and it saddened her that the Hyuga heiress hadn't spoken and hanged out with her for the last couple of days. "May I come in?" Hinata asked. Ryota nodded and allowed Hinata into her apartment before closing and locking the door behind them. Currently, Ryota was in her Junin uniform and gear. She was about to step out to do some earth manipulation practice when a knock came at her front door. Hinata removed her sandals and walked into the living room with Ryota following close by. "So girlfriend?" Ryota asked. "What brings you here?" "Ryota," Hinata said as she knelt and sat down on the round floor mat by the table she and Ryota customarily sit by. And as usual, Ryota went and sat at her end of the table. "Do you have time to spare?" Hinata asked. "What do you need?" Ryota inquired. Hinata paused for a moment before getting her courage together to settle the issue. "There's much we need to talk about. Our last meeting placed both of us on the wrong foot with each other, and I'd like very much for us to discuss and settle that matter." Ryota likewise wanted to deal with that matter. Days earlier she thought about heading to the Hyuga compound but decided against it, seeing how Hinata had been avoiding her for the last couple of days. "It's about our affections for Naruto-kun, isn't it?" Ryota said, stating the obvious. Hinata wordlessly agreed with a nod with her head. "There's no turning back now," Hinata thought to herself. "I have to talk this over with Ryota." Hinata was about to say something when, "I missed having your company, Hinata," Ryota confessed. "Things weren't the same after you started avoiding seeing me. But after what took place between us, I can't honestly blame you for your actions." "I'm sorry, Ryota," Hinata apologized, "but it was too much to take in all at once." "I know," Ryota admitted. "I kind of hardballed you with the truth. Still, I honestly felt it had to come out, and like I said, I didn't want our friendship to be ruined over the fact that we allowed the feelings we have for the same guy to turn us against each other." Hinata thought for a moment then spoke. "No, Ryota, I wouldn't want that to happen between us either. I've seen how such a thing has almost destroyed the friendship between two other people. If you've been spying on Naruto-kun for as long as you said you have, then I'm sure you're aware of how Sakura and Ino nearly allowed their friendship to be almost forgotten and ruined, all because of their bitter rivalry for Sasuke, who later turned traitor and abandoned Konoha." "Yes, I'm very well aware of that," Ryota said. "Clearly we've both been very attentive to the lives of others and how their actions have affected them for the good or the bad. Ino and Sakura's example is what I'd like for us not to repeat but learn from." There was a brief moment of silence between the two females. Both were wondering what they could say to the other. After another 3 minutes, both girls started talking to each other about their feelings for Naruto and how they could mutually handle their current situation. Hinata recalled some of Kurenai's advice about not allowing affections for someone ruin the bond another wanted to create with her, so long as both are put and kept in their proper places. Meanwhile, at the Hokage Tower, "The meeting will come to order," Tsunade said. "The Shinobi Council is now in session. This meeting which I summoned you all here for is to discuss a most important matter regarding the last sole survivor of the Namikaze clan, the clan of our late Yondaime Hokage." Tsunade's announcement caught most in the meeting chamber off their guard. Kaharu, Homura and Danzo, the original Shika Ino-Cho trio, Kakashi and Shikamaru were the only ones not taken by surprise. Already many in the meeting chamber were whispering to each other about her proclamation. "The last sole survivor of the Namikaze clan?" Hiyashi asked. "Tsunade-sama, from my knowledge the Namikaze clan became extinct with Yondaime having no offspring to carry on his line as his heir." "That's what Minato wanted everyone to believe," Tsunade replied. the truth of the matter is that he in fact does have a surviving heir. How can that be? A middle-aged council man asked. Yondaime was never married and only dedicated himself to preserving the village. If I may ask, Tsunade-sama soon spoke up, why are Naruto and Shikamaru present for this meeting? I'm glad you asked, Tsunade said. Shikamaru is here because he was the one who investigated and found Yondaime's secret heir. Again whispers were heard circulating around the chamber. Jiraiya stayed quiet as he just watched the event take place. Naruto for his part was shocked that Shikamaru was the first to figure it all out before everyone else besides the very few who already knew the truth. Tsunade nodded to Shikamaru, thus giving him permission to speak. Thank you, Tsunade-sama, Shikamaru said. After much diligent and dedicated research and investigating, I found beyond a shadow of a doubt who was Yondaime's surviving heir. However, my findings wouldn't have much influence to set in motion to establish Yondaime's child as the rightful heir to the Namikaze clan without the needed support to back up my findings. With the backing support of my father, Inoichi-san and Shuza-san, the investigation report was presented to Tsunade-sama. Through that report, she began gathering all essential information behind Minato's life, including his love life. His love life, a 34-year-old female council member asked. Yondaime was never seen in public with a woman. That's because his private love life involved a secret marriage to a kunoichi from the former Uzu no Kuni, Shikamaru clarified. Many in the chamber were aware of Uzu no Kuni's history and the refugees from that country that sought sanctuary in Konoha during the Third Shinobi World War. Her name was Kushina, Shikamaru continued. She was among the refugees that sought sanctuary in Konoha. She and Minato in time became very close and eventually fell in love. However, Minato's reputation as the Yellow Flash caused him to have many enemies in foreign villages and nations. For Kushina's protection, Minato kept his relationship with her a complete secret. Only Sandame, Jiraiya-sama, Tsunade-sama, Kakashi-sensei and I'm sure the Hokage's highest-ranking council members knew of Minato's secret love life. Homura, Kaharu and Danzo remained calm despite Shikamaru's correction assertion. Many eyes turned toward Kakashi's direction. They figured him being Yondaime's former pupil would merit him being among the few who would be allowed to know about Minato's private life. With Jiraiya being Yondaime's former teacher, it was a given. Sandame performed a secret marriage ceremony for Kushina and Minato, Shikamaru went on, but Minato requested that Kushina retain her maiden name rather than adopting his as a means to keep her marital involvement with him unknown. What was Kushina's maiden name? Sum inquired. Shikamaru answered, I'll reveal that shortly. Several months later after their marriage, Kushina became pregnant for Minato, and Minato of course was looking for to starting a family. But we all know that sadly didn't happen. On the very night Kushina went into labor, Kyuubi appeared and attacked Konoha, forcing Minato to resort to the only means to stop the Great Fox. He resorted to using a newborn baby for the sealing whose umbilical cord was freshly cut. Shibi interjected upon coming to a realization, he used and sacrificed his own son, Naruto. For those who were now realizing this, they all gasped in disbelief before making the facial connections Naruto had with Minato. Some couldn't believe how they failed to see the obvious resemblance that Naruto had with Yondaime. Same hairstyle and color, same type of eyes, and the same smile. Hiashi realized that since he never bothered to give consideration to Naruto as an orphan, that whoever his parents were on no importance to him. The Hyuga clan leader had always held the utmost respect for Yondaime while he was still alive, yet even he couldn't find it in himself to honor Minato's final request for Naruto to be seen as the hero to jails the Kyuubi. Now he was hearing from one of their chunins that Naruto was in fact the sole son of their greatest and most respected Hokage. He, along with some in the chamber, couldn't help but feel some measures of dishonor and shame for their hypocritical actions. Some in the chamber found it hard to swallow. This can't be. One council man argued, that's a fabrication. Jiraiya, Naruto and the others in the chamber turned their attention to opposing council man. Danzo, Kaharu and Homura maintained their calm composure, as did Tsunade and Jiraiya. I refuse to be that. Jinchuriki is the son of the Yellow Flash, the one council man argued. It's true, Tsunade confirmed. I looked into the investigation myself after Shikamaru performed it. But there's no evidence linking. Are you questioning the integrity of Tsunade-sama's words? Akamaru-san, Danzo asked as composed as ever. Before you speak hastily with such foolishness and paid attention earlier, You'd have heard that Tsunade-sama said that she herself looked into the Chunins' investigation. It was one of our own trusted Chunins who, after much time spent investigating the connections between Naruto, Minato and Kyuubi, found beyond questioning Minato's surviving son. Shikaku and 2 other clan leaders are giving their backing support after they no doubt thoroughly read and reviewed the report before presenting themselves to Tsunade-sama with the investigation report. I'm sure at this point now Tsunade-sama and Jiraiya will present to us tangible evidence linking Naruto as the legitimate son of our late Yondaime Hokage. When Danzo summarized it that way, it was pretty hard to refute everything that was said earlier. Tsunade and Jiraiya didn't know where Danzo was aiming at in being supportive of Naruto's parenting. Still, they chose his actions as a token for them to proceed in doing just as Danzo said they were going to do. Naruto looked at the elderly bandaged man with curiosity. The blonde could only wonder what Danzo went through to have most of his body and face bandaged. Who is that guy? Naruto wondered. Well, whoever he is, I'm happy he stood up for Ba-chan. But from the looks of things, he looks like he's been through hell and back. That man is Danzo, Naruto said, and he's a veteran ninja. He once competed with Sandaime Jisen for the title of Hokage. He did, Naruto mentally asked as he carefully eyed the man. Though he lost, Naruto continued, from what I know he controls a secretive Anbu division known as Root, and they're completely loyal to him. Though he and Jisen didn't always see eye to eye, he never openly defied or tried to usurp the Hokage. Is there anything else you know of him? Naruto asked. His Root Anbu has done an excellent job staying in the shadows under a very low profile and very few know they exist. They also take the dirtiest jobs from other villages that some ninjas wouldn't consider accepting. Is he someone I should be wary of? Naruto inquired. Danzo's methods of protecting Konoha have usually been quite unorthodox, but from what I heard they get the job done. He's a very patriotic ninja and would do anything or sacrifice whatever he has to in order to accomplish his objective. He also has a subordinate that's the same age as us. His name is Sai, and his shinobi skills lie in his ability to create art paintings and bring them to life to fight for him. Depending on how things play out in this world, you'll probably meet him later on down the line. Jiraiya saw that Naruto was gazing at Danzo with calculative eyes, as though he was dissecting and studying the man piece by piece. Danzo took note of this also but saw that Naruto didn't look at him as though he was a threat of some sort. Both older ninjas were wondering what was going through his mind at that moment before Naruto turned his attention back to Tsunade. Shizune handed the folder carrying the official documents and medical records of Kushina, Minato and Naruto to Tsunade. In this folder, Tsunade explained, are authentic documents consisting of Minato and Kushina's marriage license, medical records, Kushina's refugee and integration forms, Naruto's birth certificate possessing both of their signatures on it, and Minato's will, naming Naruto as his legal heir to all that was his and Kushina's. Tsunade had the folder passed around to allow all of the council members to read and review the documents. One by one the council members went over the documents. Indeed, they found the names of Uzumaki Kushina and Namikaze Minato in them, with the Namikaze clan seal stamped on all of the documents and on Naruto's birth certificate. Some wanted to argue against what they were seeing, but the evidence was too strong to refute, and the medical records and blood test clearly indicated that Naruto's parents were Kushina and Minato. After everyone was done reading the documents, the papers were placed back in the folder and given back to Tsunade. My master was one who had a strong sense of justice. Kakashi spoke up for the first time. He wouldn't have asked anyone to do something that he himself wouldn't have been willing to do with his own son. He knew the penalty for using his own son to become the human jailer of the Kyuubi, and he selflessly accepted it at great personal cost to himself. His only wish was for his son, his own flesh and blood, to be regarded as the hero of Konoha. Don't start speaking with a self-righteous tone, Kakashi, Inoichi remarked to the younger Junin. It wasn't like you were always there for your late sensei's son. Though Kakashi was allowed to leave the hospital 2 days ago to take part of the meeting, he still wasn't up to par to resume his shinobi duty until at least another week, and he still had medic bandages wrapped around his body on his ninja uniform. I'm not speaking as though my past actions were any better, Kakashi clarified. I became too consumed in my role as captain in the Anbu Black Ops, and with my past experiences I was forced to grow and mature fast. I didn't believe I'd have made much of a parental figure to Naruto in any way. All in all All of us disgraced and failed to honor Yondaimi's final request, which he, metaphorically speaking, made on his deathbed. Still, I find that it's not too late to correct our past mistakes and move on to a more promising future in hopes of not repeating history. There was a short silence before someone else decided to speak. In truth, Shuza spoke up. I doubt any of us here would have had the heart to do what Yondaimi did, let alone endure the many years of troubles and pain we gave his son all his life. This proves that his son is a greater man and ninja than any of us here in this chamber. Shuza-san, Akamaru retorted, don't address with such talk as though we'd all. Please try not to say anything to make yourself look more senseless than you're already doing, Shikaku interjected, it's not something that would do well for you. There's no point in making excuses for our wrongdoings, Inoichi added, we all will be facing troubles for our treatment of Naruto, but the least we can do is try to atone for them. Again there was a short silence that was broken a moment later. I was Yondaimi's teacher. Jiraiya spoke up after a long period of silence, plus as you all know I'm a bestseller book writer. We all know the kind of smut you write, Jiraiya-sama, Sume remarked. My first book was called The Gutsy Ninja and it wasn't part of my Ika Ika Paradise series, Jiraiya continued, seemingly ignoring Sume's comment to him. The storyline was completely different and Minato and Kushina asked for my personal permission to name their unborn son after the main protagonist of the story. Yondaimi named his son after a character from your first book, Homura asked, being clearly surprised himself. Jiraiya nodded. That clearly made me the boy's godfather. And as such, I'm claiming Naruto as my responsibility. Minato was like a son to me and frankly, I owe my late student that much and much more so to Naruto. But Jiraiya-sama, a councilwoman argued, you're our best spy master and field reconnaissance ninja. Assuming such a role would impede in your work and spy network which has kept Konoha well protected these past number of years. That would endanger everyone here in Konoha. I already failed Minato and Kushina in my negligence in protecting someone who was of great importance to them, Jiraiya replied, I will not fail them and my godson a second time. And as for my spy network, I'm more than capable of taking care of that, and Naruto has practically been taking care of himself while living on his own before I came into the picture. Therefore he has more than enough maturity to watch his own back and keep out of trouble while I help tap into his hidden potentials. Is there any further arguments that Naruto is indeed the son of Uzumaki Kushina and our late Yondaimi Hokage? Tsunade asked. Once again there were those who wanted to argue against the claim of Naruto's parentage, but they had nothing plausible to say since their words would be met with strong proof supporting Naruto, thus discrediting them. With the way they treated Naruto for all those years, finding out he was the son of their beloved Yondaimi was like a slap to their faces. To add to it, all of Minato's assets, estate property, wealth and jutsus will now belong solely to Naruto by rightful birthright, and there was nothing they could do to stop it without invoking Jiraiya's wrath against them. Then it's official, Tsunade stated. From this day forward, Uzumaki Naruto will be known to all as the surviving heir of the long thought to be lost Namikaze clan, and the proclamation will be announced to all of Konoha in 3 days' time in a general assembly. The entire populace will all be told the truth about Naruto's heritage and status as the Jinchuriki. Some in the council room didn't like that decision, but they had no choice but to accept it. If I may speak, Tsunade Haim, Jiraiya requested, Naruto is the last of a once great clan of Konoha, will be entitled to certain rights once he's of maturity to exercise them. Yes. Tsunade and Shizune knew very well what Jiraiya was talking about, and from the tone of his voice and demeanor they acknowledged that he wasn't being a pervert about it. The slug princess inwardly frowned at the thought, but she knew that it was a written law that her grandfather Senju Hashirama put in place in the event that a village clan was on the brink of extinction and was in dire need of restoration. With Naruto as the surviving male, he could resurrect and rebuild the Namikaze clan. Yes, Jiraiya, Tsunade nodded. When Naruto reaches the standard maturity and attains the status as clan leader, he will be allowed to exercise the Clan Revival Act. Until then, he'll have to study and work much harder to earn the status as clan leader and earn a seat on the Shinobi Council. Tsunade was expecting Naruto to go into one of his hyperactive antics after hearing everything that was being said. But that never happened. Throughout the meeting, Naruto had been mature, calm and downright respectful, even to those who questioned his heritage and birthright. Jiraiya must have spoken with him before coming here, I suppose, Tsunade figured. Naruto. The blonde genin head shot up in attention. Yes, Tsunade no Bachan. Tsunade's eye twitched at that name he called her still, but she continued. Konoha's laws state that before you can attain the status as clan leader and earn a seat on the Shinobi Council, you must be reach the rank of Junin. Also, no one person makes up a clan, thus you won't have permission to receive the title as clan leader unless you're married and bear children, or have a few selected female individuals living with you in your estate as active members of your clan. Naruto blinked a few times at what Tsunade was explaining to him. I get the part of me alone not being enough to make up a clan Bachan, Naruto said, but what's this about me having a few selected females living with me as active members of my clan? In other words, Shikamaru explained for Tsunade, when you're ready, you will be entitled to marry more than one female, just a few, and have them bear children for you in order to speed up the revitalization of your endangered clan Naruto. Be it civilian or kunoichi females of your own choosing, them being a little younger, as old as or older than you being irrelevant. Naruto recalled the whole conversation he had with Shizune about procreation. Moments later, Naruto grabbed his head as he felt momentarily dizzy and disoriented. Naruto, Jiraiya said as he and the others turned to the young with concern, are you alright? Naruto didn't answer him as his mind activated and started processing the dormant knowledge and experiences that Naruto placed into his mind about what being a Namikaze clan leader and Shinobi Council member entailed. Naruto had those dormant experiences downloaded into Naruto's mind and set them to activate in the event that Naruto was officially given his rightful birthright by the Hokage. It became clear to Naruto that his older brother knew the entire truth all along but refrained from verbally revealing it to him for reasons that Naruto felt that such truth should be told to him by those closest to Naruto. In one fast download, Naruto's mind became conscious about the Namikaze clan, Uzumaki family and their entire history before and after joining Konoha. Overwhelmed by the new experiences and understanding, Naruto fell to the side and lost consciousness. Jiraiya hurried and checked on him. I guess this was rather much for him to take in all at once, Jiraiya said. He fainted. But he'll be alright once he comes to. I don't suppose any of us were expecting someone with Naruto's reputation to behave and react the way he did, Shuza commented. How troublesome a thing, Shikaku added. Jiraiya lifted Naruto off the floor as he stood up with Naruto in his arms. Is there more to be said, Tsunade Haim? Jiraiya asked. After he wakes up, Tsunade said, have him report to me so I can hand him the keys to his new estate. Since Yondaime sealed it and everything in that estate away, only Naruto can open it. Until then, this meeting has concluded and all of you are dismissed. Jiraiya took this as his cue to exit with Naruto with a quick shunshin. The rest in the chamber stood up and proceeded to exit the chamber with much on their minds. Tsun was still trying to process everything she heard, and now she was wondering how her clan was going to be affected when they learned the truth about Naruto's heritage. Hiashi recalled how Hinata behaved towards him when she confronted him about Naruto being the Jinchuriki and how her view of the clan took a radical change as a result. Now Hiashi found out that the scorned village pariah was actually the son of their late Yondaime and lost heir of the once great Namikaze clan. And as with the other clan leaders and other council members, Hiashi was going to have to discuss the issue of Naruto's heritage with his clan elders. Revealing and announcing Naruto's heritage to Konoha will surely change the course of history for the village. Tsunade-sama, Danzo said with his ever calm composure, though I'm sure you're aware that many might not be quick to accept the proclamation. I can expect that from the older generation, Tsunade admitted, but the backlash they'll receive from the younger generation will be far worse. If that's the case, Danzo remarked, then that same backlash might come back to hit you as well. Let's hope that it's something that won't take Konoha years to recover from, as I'm sure that some of our younger ninjas and civilians will as a result question the integrity government and the Hokage that leads them. Tsunade suppressed a snarl that wanted to escape her mouth as Danzo turned and dismissed himself from her sight. There were many things she couldn't stand about that veteran ninja. Shizune approached Tsunade. Tsunade-sama, Shizune asked. I'm in need of a goddamn drink, Tsunade replied, and a really good one too. At the Haruno residence, Sakura was allowed to return home 2 days ago after the doctors deemed her fit to leave the hospital. Currently she was alone in her room with much on her mind. She didn't speak to her mother much after learning the truth about Naruto's entire history. She was trying to sort everything out as her mind recalled what Ino explained to her about how Hinata was the catalyst in triggering Naruto to fight back against Kyuubi's powerful influence. It kept nagging her that Naruto, despite the fact that he was being controlled by Kyuubi, couldn't bring himself to harm Hinata even once. For all Sakura knew then, Naruto hardly ever noticed Hinata at all. Sakura always saw how Naruto wanted her, not Hinata, to become his girlfriend, doing everything he could to woo and persuade her into going on a date with him, even if it was just once. He gave her compliments and promised her a good time and that he'd be the perfect gentleman if she give him the chance to do so. And in spite of all of his efforts, she always flat out rejected him, sometimes physically with a smack or punch to the head or face. Yet, he always kept that goofy smile on his face, as though he was saying that he'd keep trying until he would eventually persuade her into giving him a chance. That goofy smile, Sakura realized, masked Naruto's true feelings of sadness and loneliness. Never once did I ever took into consideration what life for him in Konoha truly was for him and how he was seeking affections from anyone willing to share it with him, especially from me. Sakura walked over to her cabinet and picked up the picture of her and the rest of Team 7. For all Sakura believed of Naruto then, he was a stupid orphan and obstacle between her and Sasuke, the Uchiha who she always wanted affections and acknowledgement from. Sasuke-kun, Sakura said unconsciously in an undertone when her mind started thinking about her time with him before his desertion. As she was recalling her memories of Sasuke, she started thinking about the N girls and their bond with Naruto. She, as well as the others, saw how devoted and loyal the Hinata, Ino and Temari were to Naruto and how far they were willing to go to prove to Naruto just how much he meant to them. Despite what Sakura said to the girls initially about their relationship with Naruto, deep down she envied them. What they had she wanted in terms of bonds and affection she had always dreamt and desired such a thing to be shared between her and Sasuke. She thought about how Naruto treated his girls and how he loved and cherished them according to the stories the girls shared with them. Not to mention how great he was in bed, and Sakura with the others girls were given truckloads of detail. When she thought about the relationship and bond the girls had with Naruto and compared it to what she had with Sasuke and how he had always treated her, Sakura, as hard as it was, had to be honest with herself in accepting the truth. She had no romantic relationship or bond with Sasuke at all. Sasuke never once gave her a look or express any form of interest in her. Whenever she asked him out or suggested training together with her, he'd coldly turn her away with harsh words or without saying a word at all. Sasuke never once complimented her, never praised or said she was pretty or beautiful. He looked down on her character and believed her to be weaker and below Naruto and an obstacle for his own ambitions. He even knocked her unconscious and left her outside on the bench on the night he left Konoha for Oto. He gave no considerations to her feelings and he flat out told her she was annoying. When she thought about it, Sasuke treated her the same way she treated Naruto, which served to add more to her guilt. Then there was Ryota, a former Iwa Kunoichi who joined Konoha as the village's newest Junin recruit. The older ninja barely knew Naruto and yet she was all over him like a giddy school with a crush. Thinking about that reminded Sakura about her behavior toward Sasuke. The major difference was that Naruto didn't treat Ryota, Hinata or even her that way. He was polite, humorous, and enthusiastic and always kept a smile on his face even when the joke was on him. Sakura finally admitted to herself that she was in fact jealous of how Ryota interacted with Naruto when they gave her that tour as their mission and that she used the training session the following day as an excuse to hurt Naruto for giving his attention to another female, attention she was accustomed to receiving from the hyperactive blonde. Looking back at the picture while thinking back about the old days, the pink-haired Kunoichi had to admit that Naruto matured some ever since his unexpected encounter with his older brother. She soon started wondering how the village was going to react to Naruto being revealed as the son of Yondaime. If anything, she knew that many wouldn't be quick to accept the truth about Naruto being the last Namikaze. It's funny how Sasuke-kun was once hailed as the last loyal Uchiha, Sakura said to herself. Now Naruto will be made known as the last loyal Namikaze, the son of the late Yondaime who had a crush on me since who knows when. Though she said to herself, she still found it hard to believe. The son of the most beloved late Hokage had always liked her and she, although never knowing the truth about Naruto or ever giving him a chance, always rejected him in favor of Sasuke, whose opinions and feelings about her were as warm as a solid block of ice. And yet she had Naruto promised her to bring Sasuke back to her in Konoha, a promise that nearly cost him his life. Was I always that selfish and foolish? Sakura asked herself before speaking again in an undertone as a few tears dropped down her face. Naruto, I behaved and treated you so badly and placed so much stress and pressure on you. And making you promise me to bring Sasuke-kun back only added to the burden you already were forced to carry. I'm so sorry for adding to your pain. I promise I'll try to right the wrongs I did you. No matter how long it takes, I'll strive to become a better friend and person for you, Naruto. With that all in mind, Sakura could only wonder how things between her and Naruto were going to play out in the not too far off future. At Ryota's apartment, both girls were still around the table, conversing and drinking herbal tea and eating cinnamon rolls. So is there any hard feelings between us, Hinata? Ryota asked. Hinata sipped her tea and replied, none at all. I know it won't be easy for either of us, but we shouldn't let the unknown future with its many possibilities put a fork in our friendship. Although we both have feelings for Naruto-kun, ultimately it'll be Naruto-kun's final decision to choose who he will want to be with. And no matter who he chooses, Ryota said, let's promise each other to stay friends. There was a momentary pause between the two girls. Hinata broke the silence. It's painful and sad that one of us have to suffer heartbreak for the other to be happy. Well, Ryota suggested, perhaps it would be best if we don't dwell on that too much, for our own friendship's sakes. Not to sound pessimistic, but we don't even know if Naruto-kun would choose either of us. He may very well fall for another girl altogether despite whatever efforts we place in trying to win his affections. And if that were to happen, what would have become of our friendship if we were so caught up in the possibilities of Naruto-kun choosing one of us? Hinata had to admit that Ryota made a good point. It would be a sad loss for both of us, Hinata admitted with a bit of reluctance. Even still, we should be happy for Naruto-kun, and the lucky girl who won his heart. The future is not set in stone. Therefore, Ryota remarked as she sipped her tea, here's hoping to our happy future girlfriend. Hinata smiled and nodded. She was happy that she was able to apply Kurenai's advice and talk matters over with Ryota. The young Hyuga heiress was happy that she wasn't going to lose a friend and fellow comrade over their feelings for the same guy. Though some things would be somewhat awkward between the two females, they at the very least managed to save their still developing friendship and bond. Later that afternoon, Shikamaru was out in the fields lying on the grass doing one of his favorite pastime hobbies, cloud watching. After the council meeting, he decided to get away from everyone to give himself time to unwind and relax. Shikamaru, a masculine voice called out. The Nara genius turned to see his two teammates hurrying over to him. Choji, Ino, Shikamaru greeted as he lazily stood up from the grass. The two genins reached and stood in front of him. So how did the meeting go? Ino inquired. Not much to say except that Naruto is now the official heir of the Namikaze clan, Shikamaru explained. He'll be given everything that once belonged to Yondaime and Kushina. There were a few at the meeting that were rather troublesome, but nothing that I couldn't handle with the added proof Tsunade-sama provided me with. It must have been quite a show, Choji remarked. Too bad I couldn't be there to see the look on all of their faces. I'm sure they were priceless. We should celebrate this with Naruto and the others, Ino suggested. Not happening, Shikamaru replied. Jiraiya-sama took off with Naruto the moment the meeting was over. Naruto for some reason or other lost consciousness during the final segment of the meeting. Did something happen to him? Choji asked with a worried tone. He just grabbed his head as though his head was spinning, Shikamaru said. My guess is that he was possibly overwhelmed by the idea of him being the only male left of his clan needing to repopulate his clan. According to Konoha's Clan Revival Act, a sole male member of a dying clan is not considered a clan leader unless he marries and bears children to continue the familial line after achieving the rank of Junin. Naruto has his work cut out for him if he wishes to re-establish his clan to its former glory. Sounds like something they'd have told Sasuke, Choji remarked. Perhaps, Shikamaru replied with a shrug, but that's clearly not the case as Sasuke's traitorous actions led him to lose out on an opportunity that could have been offered to him. Tsunade-sama will make a public announcement about Naruto heritage to the village in a few days, if not sooner. Expect some fireworks, and I don't mean the ones we see during joyous celebrations. Regardless, Ino replied, Naruto will have our support and complete backing. He deserves that much and then some. Choji and Shikamaru nodded in agreement. At Jiraiya's house, Jiraiya placed Naruto in his room and into his sleeping futon. The blonde was still knocked out and hadn't moved since. The sage could only wonder what triggered Naruto lose consciousness after hearing what Tsunade told him. If anything, the Toad Sannin thought Naruto would have reacted much differently at the idea of marrying a few potential females to help revitalize his clan. Still, Jiraiya found nothing physically wrong with Naruto or the seal, so he allowed the boy to rest up until he wakes up. What a long day this was, Jiraiya said to himself as he disappeared into his own room. Going by the table holding his manuscript for his new book, Jiraiya decided some leisure time was in order as a way to take a break from the day's events. Hurrying to the kitchen, he prepared some fresh tea and brought it up to his room, closing the door behind him. Sitting down by the table, Jiraiya sipped some of his tea and picked up his ink pen before seeing where in the story he left off at. Meanwhile at Root Anbu headquarters, Danzo was in a chamber with a young pale-skinned boy the same age as Naruto kneeling in front of him on one knee. The aged ninja just got through explaining what he wanted the boy to do. Do you understand your mission? Danzo asked. The boy nodded with his smile. Hi, Danzo-sama. I'm to make contact with Namikaze Naruto. Danzo frowned. Don't make fake smiles around me. My apologies, the boy said as he looked at Danzo with an emotionless expression. I'm still having troubles conveying emotions and expression. I've been reading about them recently. Danzo gave no reply to that. He simply went on with his next instructions. I discussed and arranged it with Tsunade-sama and the advisors 2 days ago in having you assigned to Team 7 as Sasuke's replacement. As of today, your new codename will be Sai. It's nice to see you again, Naruto-kun, Sai replied. Tsunade, Kakashi and Sakura looked at the two boys questionably. You both know each other already? Kakashi asked. We had a ninja's introduction, you can say, Sai remarked. Naruto-kun's skills were more than I expected. I'll keep in mind not to underestimate him again. Naruto turned back to Tsunade and asked, why is he here? I told you already, Sai said, I'm the official new member of Team 7. Sakura couldn't believe what she heard. She and Naruto looked back at Kakashi and Tsunade for confirmation. Yes, Tsunade confirmed, effective immediately. Sai is now part of Team 7 and Uchiha Sasuke. Flashback. Several hours earlier. Jiraiya stirred and moved slightly before his eyes slowly opened and adjusted to the lighting coming from the window. The morning sun was radiating its golden rays over the village, signaling the start of a new day with its new beginning. The toad sage stretched and yawned groggily as he sat up from his futon. I better get cleaned up and prepare Naruto for the day, Jiraiya said to himself as he rose up and headed to the bathroom. Reaching the room, he stepped in and spent the next 10 minutes cleaning himself up. He then returned to his room and dressed himself in his custom ninja clothes. Leaving the room again, he headed to Naruto's room and opened the door expecting to find the blonde sleeping. To Jiraiya's surprise, Naruto was gone, and from the look of things, it was clear that Naruto wasn't in his room for quite a while, perhaps for an hour or two. The old pervert stepped into the room and found a note on the futon. Picking the note up, he read the message. Gone to train. Don't worry about breakfast, Ero Defu. I helped myself to whatever you had in your refrigerator. P.S. You still owe me my money you spent on those broads while we were searching for Tsunade no Bachan. That Gaki, Jiraiya muttered under his breath. Clearly Naruto intentionally neglected to tell him where he was training and when he'd return. At one of the training grounds, Naruto was breathing hard and on his knee using his naginata for support while being surrounded by cage bushins. After spending the first half-hour mediating and performing chakra exercises to help build up his chakra control, she spent the next 2 hours putting himself through intense training and spar exercise with his naginata. Though he had the in-depth knowledge of the use of the naginata, his body was from far used to it. He had a long way to go to train his body to be fluid and swift with the use of his weapon of choice. Like him, his clones also had naginatas, and earlier they were all coming at him. So far, Naruto sustained a number of cuts and slashes on his body, staining his blue and orange training clothes with his blood. Ready for more, One of the cage Bushins asked, pointing his naginata at him. Naruto stood back up with a smirk on his face. Let's dance. Naruto challenged as he and his cage Bushins charged at each other. Meanwhile, Konohamaru was reading one of the scrolls talking about the stamina and exercises needed for training in the art of the naginata. He had some time left before he had to make his way to the academy with his two friends. He was still wary about some of the teachers at the academy, and his relationship with his uncle and Ebisu have been strained ever since he learned the truth about Naruto. In fact, Konohamaru hadn't spoken with Ebisu in days, and the young boy barely spoke with Asuma either. Rather than pushing the matter, Asuma decided to give his nephew his space. I hope Nichan won't take too long before he starts training me, Konohamaru said to himself. I know he told me that it would be some time before he's physically fit to teach and train me in using the naginata, but it almost feels like it'll be forever. A minute later, a knock came at the door. Konohamaru-kun, a maid said behind the door, it's time for school. Your friends Udon and Moegi are at the front door waiting for you. I'll be there in a minute, Konohamaru responded as he marked where he was leaving off at in the scroll before rolling the scroll close and putting it away in his backpack to read later. Getting his things together, the young Sarutobi hurried out of his room and made his way to the front entrance of the house where his sandals were. After putting them on, he stepped out of the house to find Moegi and Udon waiting from his just outside. Konohamaru-chan, Moegi smiled and greeted. Ready to go? Udon asked. Konohamaru nodded and started on his way with his friends following close by beside him at his left and right. While walking, Konohamaru was trying his hardest to memorize the portion of the scroll he read earlier. So far he managed to call to mind some of the things he studied about, but still not the amount he wanted to remember. Konohamaru-chan, Moegi said, only not to be given a response. She repeated, Konohamaru-chan. Konohamaru snapped out of his trance and looked to his right at the young girl. Is something the matter? Moegi asked with worry. You looked like you were thinking hard about something. Sorry if I worried you, Konohamaru replied. I was just trying to remember something I read. Do you remember what it was about? Udon asked. It was something I was looking into in order to strengthen my ninja training, Konohamaru said, but it's not too big a deal. I'll just go back to reading that scroll again later. Was it given to you by Ebisu-san? Udon inquired. No, Konohamaru said. Knowing him, he would stick to giving me some useless shortcut. I got that scroll from out of the library several days ago. I don't have to return it until sometime next week. For the next 20 minutes the trio conversed with each until they reached the academy ground where all the other students were entering from. They made their way to Iruka's class and took their respective seating in the classroom. 10 minutes later Iruka entered the class and closed the door behind him. Good morning class, Iruka greeted. Everyone just gave Iruka a silent nod. At least they don't give me as much of a cold shoulder like the other teachers have to deal with, Iruka thought, knowing that the students were still having trust issues with the teachers of the academy. 2 hours later, Naruto was sore and exhausted. His body was in pain all over with cuts, bruises and slash marks around his body. He was still a very long way from reaching Naruto's physical level, and he knew he wouldn't be reaching Naruto's level anytime soon. I hope I don't collapse and die trying to attain Nichan's level, Naruto thought while making his way back to the house. While on his way, a figure was following him from the shadows among the trees. Jumping to the trees stealthily, the figure sat on one of the branches and pulled out his drawing board, paintbrush and ink bottle. After preparing himself, he sketched several animal paintings on his drawing canvas. Naruto continued on his way when he was suddenly attacked and pounced on by what appeared to be a large black and wild tiger. The tiger roared and fiercely pinned Naruto to the ground from behind, digging its claws into his back. Naruto puffed into smoke, revealing itself to be a cage Bushin. The real Naruto emerged from the ground with a Rasengan in hand, destroying the tiger instantly. More tigers' paintings came at Naruto, but Naruto performed a wind force manipulation jutsu that shredded and splattered all of the tigers that came at him. Naruto then looked up to see a pale-skinned boy his age looking back at him with his trademark fake smile. So Sai has arrived, Naruto said. So he's Sai? Naruto inquired. Yes, but don't let on that you already know of him. Naruto mentally nodded in understanding. Who are you? Naruto asked as he took a ready-to-fight stance. You wear the Konoha insignia yet you attack me. Is it because I'm the container of that stupid fox? Still holding onto his fake smile, Sai replied, I'm Sai. And my reason for attacking you has nothing to do with you being the Jinchuriki of Kyuubi. I just wanted to make sure that you weren't as I once thought you to be. Naruto gagged at Sai's remark to him. I'm pleased to see that you got balls and that you're not a, Sai added. What was that? Naruto shouted. Yeah, I should have warned you about Sai's potty-mouth demeanor. And if I'm correct, he have less than flattering opinions about Sakura and Sasuke too. Best not to underestimate him though, remember he's under Danzo working for the Root Anbu. We're going to be working together for now on Naruto, Sai said, I'm the new member of Team 7. Huh? Naruto said, I wasn't told about this. Tsunade-sama will fill you in on all the details, Sai said, it has been arranged and made official by the Hokage herself. I'm Uchiha Sasuke's replacement. Replacement? Naruto replied, I don't believe you. Understandable considering what transpired earlier, Sai said, if you like, we can find Sakura and Kakashi-sensei together and meet with Tsunade-sama. I don't even know you and you expect me to trust you like that, Naruto remarked, what's to say that you won't just lure me into an awaiting ambush? And you got brains too besides a, Sai remarked cynically, you came a long way from being the Academy's dead last and that she-male's personal punching bag. Naruto's right eye was twitching as he held himself from lunging at Sai. I'm sure that was Sakura he was describing, Naruto clarified. If we're to be on the same team as you're trying to get me into believing, Naruto said, you're getting off to a very bad start with me. Sai analyzed Naruto carefully. Based on what he read about Naruto from his records, he expected the blonde genin to go into a rage and want to rush in and fight him in blind anger after provoking him enough. This Naruto before me is different, Sai contemplated, he's more than I expected from him. I'll be at the Hokage Tower later this morning, Sai said as he stood up on the branch, I'll be looking forward to our second meeting with you then. Sai performed an ink shunshin and left the scene. I don't like him, Naruto remarked. He'll take getting used to, Naruto said. I won't accept him as Sasuke's replacement, Naruto retorted. Deal with it, Naruto remarked sternly. Naruto was taken aback by Naruto's changed demeanor. Like it or not, Naruto continued, Sai is part of your team now and despite whatever differences surface between you, him and Sakura, you're going to have to learn to work with him, especially since there will be missions that will require trust and confidence in each other from all three of you when faced off against deadly enemies. If you let something as foolish as holding a traitor who tried to kill you in higher regards hold you back from accepting Sai, you're placing yourself in a very steep disadvantage and bad light. Now wait just a minute, Naruto argued, you can't just. You may not like the idea of Sasuke being replaced or talked bad about regardless of how true it is, but if you ever wish to be acknowledged as a true clan leader and gain a seat on the Shinobi Council, then you're going to have to shape up and learn to accept and embrace cold hard truths that you won't always like, let alone be able to change. I won't repeat Rurouni no Daisuke's words to you but many of what he said of Sasuke's action held truths to them. You may not like or want to hear this, even from me, but you're going to have to grow up and become a man in accepting reality for what it is. Even though you've been infused with experiences from your counterpart, you're going to have to grow and mature the rest of the way from it. And holding on to the past isn't an act of maturity. It's depressing, self-defeating and dangerous, goddamn it. Just look at what it did to the morale of the villagers. They held on to stupid grudges for what Kyuubi did and cowardly used you as their scapegoat. In short, nothing good came out of their holding on to the past. Holding on to memories of things that once were will only hold you back from advancing into the great ninja you desire to become. Naruto never liked when he heard negative things said about Sasuke to his face. But hearing it coming from within his own self gave him a feeling he couldn't describe in words. What added more to this was that it was his own subconscious and will giving him this verbal lashing. Your counterpart didn't become who he is by holding on to the past and the things that used to be. No, he held on to the present and the people who were always with him. People who he trusted as he family and closest friends and they in turn trusted him with their lives and other things of value to them. That was one of the many factors that made him a strong-minded and willed man and shinobi. He knew what mattered most and cherished it, doing everything in his power to protect it. I swore a promise of a lifetime to Sakura that I'd get Sasuke back for her, Naruto argued. I'm a man who values the promises I make and I'm not someone who goes back on the promises I make. A commendable trait, only when used wisely. What do you mean? Naruto asked. What I mean is that this promise to get Sasuke back for Sakura's sake will only lead you to stab yourself all over with a great deal of sorrow and pain. Sakura's begging you to bring Sasuke back to her, knowingly disregarding Sasuke's actions, was selfish and it nearly got you, Shikamaru and the others killed, and in your case more than once. You think of Sasuke as your closest friend, yet he not once hesitated to try to kill you, once by breaking your neck and the other time by plunging a Chidori through your chest. On both occasions you'd have been dead had it not been for Kyuubi's reviving your body. But Sasuke didn't kill me, Naruto replied, he spared me. On a whim, I'm sure. Knowing his reasons, it was anything but out of friendship. He left you in Konoha for power, seeking it from a traitorous Sannin responsible for Sandaime Jisen's death and the deaths of other innocent people of the village you seek to protect. What were Kakashi's words to you about those who betray their comrades? He did not say that they were lower than trash. So why do you seek to bring Sakura something lower than trash? Naruto cringed at Naruto's harsh logic, especially after hearing his last statement. Nichin did this. Naruto figured, he put his thoughts into my mind in his effort to. Your counterpart did no such thing, Naruto calmly rebuked. You should be ashamed of yourself for even thinking that he'd force his will on you after saying to you personally he didn't come to force you to change your mind about Sasuke. You honestly think that your counterpart went through so much trouble and consideration on your behalf to impart his gifts to you in the effort to change your mind about Sasuke? How do you suppose he'd feel if he were here to hear you say that to his face, after he went through so much trouble trying to protect you and restore what rightfully belongs to you? Do you honestly value the past and a traitorous comrade over someone who loved and cherished you as his beloved little brother, and gone through great lengths to ensure a better future for you? Something no one else has done for you. Naruto wasn't able to hide his shame as several tears spilled from down his eyes. He was expecting to hear more of Naruto's words to him, but they never came. Naruto wiped his eyes and took a few minutes to compose himself before resuming his trek back to the house. Naruto's never left his mind as he contemplated his words. Meanwhile, at the Hokage Tower, Tsunade was walking through the deep archives of the Hokage vault, looking through heavily classified records that only the Hokages were allowed to see. Scrolls written by her grandfather Hashirama, and her granduncle Tobirama were among them. Many of which were personal journals documenting accounts of their exploits. As she was about to leave the vault, her eyes came across a peculiar diary. Letting curiously get the better of her, she went over to the diary and unsealed it. Reading through it, she found that it was a fully detailed journal written by Sarutobi Hiruzen. It wasn't the only journal the late Sandaime written, but something about the journal Tsunade was holding stood out to her. It possessed the seals of both the Senju and Uchiha clan. Why would Sarutobi sensei have a journal about my clan and the Uchihas? Tsunade asked herself as she started reading into it. Upon reading deeper into the diary, what she discovered within its writings shocked and froze her in place. After making sure no one else was around, she continued reading the journal further. She read every letter of it, making sure she didn't miss anything. It took her about 48 minutes to finish reading the journal. When she was done, she found Hiruzen's personal signature and seal written and stamped in it, irrefutably solidifying its authenticity. You were such an old fool, Sarutobi sensei. Tsunade sighed heavily after discovering one of Konoha's darkest secrets that Hiruzen, Danzo, Homura and Kaharu hoped would never see the light of day. But for what it was worth, she didn't know which was worse, what she discovered from the journal or the years of abuse Naruto was forced to endure, which in a large way was connected to what she read. You kept Itachi's promise and carried it to your grave for Sasuke's sake, Tsunade said, but you did only do so much for Naruto. Tsunade took a moment to control her emotions after taking a few breaths. Finding a small empty scroll, she took it and wrote a seal onto it. Placing the book down the scroll, she sealed the book into the seal and rolled the scroll close. Placing the scroll into her pocket, she stepped out and closed the vault shut, sealing it close. She wasn't going to allow Homura, Kaharu and Danzo to get a hold of the tangible proof Hiruzen knowingly left behind, linking the truth to why the Uchiha clan was destroyed. The question she had was how she was going to use it, especially since she wasn't around when Sarutobi made that promise to Itachi. She stopped walking when thought about the how Sasuke willfully betrayed Konoha, whereas Itachi did what he had to in order to stop a civil war from erupting, which would have triggered the next great shinobi world war. Itachi accepted and took the fall as a traitor and missing Nin for the sake of preventing his traitorous clan's reputation from being smeared. Then he blackmailed Danzo in order to prevent himself from doing anything to Sasuke. For what it was worth, Sasuke inverted everything Itachi gave his Konoha life and reputation for. And to make things more complicated, Naruto was hell-bent on getting Sasuke back and returning him to Konoha. Though recent events have calmed Naruto's ever-burning zeal to go after Sasuke, Tsunade wondered if down the line Naruto would use his clan's influence to sponsor another attempt to go after Sasuke. "I rather not think about that," Tsunade sighed as she started walking from the archive chamber and back to her office. Meanwhile, Naruto was back in-house sitting at the table and staring at his food. He returned without saying much to Jiraiya before and after cleaning himself up. "What's troubling you, Gaki?" Jiraiya asked. "You hardly touched your food and you look like something caved in inside you. You have no idea how close to the truth you are, Erodefu," Naruto thought. "Just a lot on my mind, really." "Want to share it with me?" Jiraiya asked, offering his attention. Naruto thought about it, remembering Jiraiya's words to him about how he tried to get Orochimaru to come back to Konoha. But his current situation wasn't something Jiraiya could relate to, let alone understand. "Were there times you wished things could go back to the way they were?" Naruto asked. "What do you mean?" Jiraiya asked. "Orochimaru was your teammate, as was Bachan," Naruto went on. "You three were comrades and experienced a great deal together, during both good and bad times before Orochimaru deserted and betrayed Konoha and everything that ever trusted him, including you. Have there ever been times you wished you could turn back the clock and prevent the things that led up to Orochimaru's betrayal?" "This is about Sasuke, isn't it?" Jiraiya interpreted. Naruto wordlessly nodded. The sage let out a low breath before taking a seat in front of his godson. "There have been times I felt that way, I will admit," Jiraiya said, "but I came to the realization that harboring strong feelings of nostalgia is self-defeating, dangerous and downright depressing." "Nichan said the exact same thing," Naruto thought to himself. "Naruto, I already told you the story about Orochimaru and my failed attempt in trying to retrieve him," Jiraiya said. "When I did, you were still fixated on going after Sasuke in order to return him to Konoha, going as far as telling me that if that made you stupid then you rather not be smart. The villagers would be willing to forgive him, wouldn't they?" Naruto asked. "He was always loved and pampered by them. Do think the other genins share that blind one-sided sentimentalism of yours?" Naruto, Jiraiya asked, seeing that they and the Sunanins were nearly killed by the Oto ninjas sent to bring Sasuke to Oto. "Wouldn't you find it sad and shameful if the villagers were to welcome a traitor home with open arms like nothing happened, than to accept the son, their proclaimed greatest Hokage, who saves them every day by jailing the Kyuubi within his being while giving him years of grief?" Naruto never sat down to think about that. When he did, though, it placed the idea in a very bad light. "Orochimaru will never be welcomed back in Konoha with open arms," Jiraiya continued. "It would be foolish if Sasuke wasn't punished for turning against us." "Sasuke isn't Orochimaru," Naruto retorted. "Sasuke betrayed you and everything Sandaime and your father stood for and died for in favor of siding with one of Konoha's worst traitors," Jiraiya emphasized. "No one forced Sasuke to turn traitor, not even Orochimaru. He betrayed all of us out of his own free will." Naruto couldn't help but cringe at Jiraiya's irrefutable logic. The Toad Sage was not sugar-coating his words for Naruto's feelings of sentimentalism, seeing where that got Sandaime and himself with regards to Orochimaru. He didn't want Naruto to repeat history and make the same mistakes they did. "You may want to believe that Sasuke is redeemable," Jiraiya said, "but life doesn't always play out that way." Naruto always thought he could relate to Sasuke's pain and loneliness. He thought he and Sasuke could understand each other. "He was my closest friend," Naruto replied. "That's right, Naruto," Jiraiya emphasized. "He was. Past tense, not present. You're acting on feelings of nostalgia again, and it's going to cause you to miss out on the more important things that are going on in your life right now." Sasuke isn't here now acting as your proclaimed closest friend like how Hinata, Ryota, Shikamaru and the others are. They risked both their lives and reputations for your sake as true friends, and you're here moping for a traitor who not only tried to kill you but gave no regards to how his actions were going to affect you and everyone else in the village. That kind of thinking will do great harm to your development and the status you seek to establish in this village as the Namikaze clan heir. Naruto lowered his head as Jiraiya's words combined within Naruto's sank in. As an orphan, he always treasured the bonds he made with the people he believed were the closest to him. I know you value your bonds with those close to you, Naruto, Jiraiya said, but there are times when some bonds have to be severed, especially with traitorous former friends whose actions will bring harm to those precious to you. That statement struck a chord for Naruto. Besides the tedious paperwork, Jiraiya said, the job of Hokage isn't always glamorous, and if you ever wish to become Hokage, you're going to have to learn to make very painful sacrifices, sometimes at personal cost for the benefit of the majority. He sat there for several minutes as he thought about everything he was told. A moment later, a knock came at the door. Jiraiya got up and walked over to it, allowing Naruto more time to think. Opening the door, he found Sakura standing by the door. Jiraiya-sama, Sakura greeted, is Naruto here? Jiraiya allowed Sakura in and closed the door. Gaki, Jiraiya called out, your teammate's here for you. Naruto snapped out his train of thoughts and left the kitchen, heading to the front door where Sakura was waiting. Sakura-chan, Naruto greeted, what are you doing here? I came to get you, Sakura said, we have to report to Tsunade-sama pronto. Naruto nodded and got his sandal on. As Naruto stepped out with Sakura following next to him, Jiraiya said, think deeply about everything I told Naruto. Naruto turned to look at Jiraiya briefly before turning back around to head to the Hokage Tower with Sakura. While on their way, Naruto remained silent and deep in thought. Sakura saw this and wondered if something was wrong. Naruto? Sakura asked. Naruto. Naruto turned to his pink-haired teammate and said, sorry, I just had a lot on my mind. Want to talk about it? Sakura asked, offering her attentive ear. We have some time before we reach Tsunade-sama's office. If you like, we can slow the pace so you can tell me about it. Maybe I can help with whatever's bothering you. It's alright, Sakura-chan, Naruto said, you don't have to. Naruto, Sakura interjected, you're clearly bothered by something, and if it's going to affect how you're going to behave around me and everyone else, I'd like to know what it is and come up with a way to help you through it. The blonde said nothing as he thought about Sakura's offer. Naruto, Sakura said sincerely, I want to become a better friend and person for you. I know I wasn't much of a friend to you before and I want to change that. Please, let me start by hearing from you what's troubling you. Naruto was rather surprised by Sakura's changed demeanor and open-mindedness towards him. I appreciate your concern, Sakura-chan, Naruto said, I'm happy that you want us to become better friends. I want that too. But you're not going to tell me what's bothering you, Sakura figured. It's not that I don't want to, Naruto said, I just need time to think about what Defu said. Sakura sighed, seeing that Naruto wasn't going to budge. Alright, Sakura replied, I won't force you to tell me anything you're not ready to talk about. But whenever you do feel ready to talk about it, I'll listen. I'm here for you, okay? Thanks, Sakura-chan, Naruto said with a small smile on his face, I really appreciate that. Just promise not to brutally pound me into the ground if what you hear sounds displeasing. Sakura inwardly cringed on hearing how Naruto would believe that she'd brutalize him while hearing what was on his mind. Was I always that violent towards him? Sakura wondered, believing that she instilled a permanent belief that talks with her frequently ends with him at the receiving end of her fist. The rest of the walk was made in silence, though Sakura couldn't help but wonder what was on Naruto's mind. Reaching the tower, the duo found Kakashi waiting for them in the office with Tsunade. Naruto looked and found Sai also in the office, smiling his fake smile back at him. Sai, Naruto exclaimed, it's you again. It's nice to see you again, Naruto-kun, Sai replied. Tsunade, Kakashi and Sakura looked at the two boys questionably. You both know each other already? Kakashi asked. We had a ninja's introduction, you can say, Sai remarked. Naruto-kun's skills were more than I expected. I'll keep in mind not to underestimate him again. Though you were clearly holding back, Naruto thought before turning back to Tsunade. Why is he here? Naruto asked. I told you already, Sai said. I'm the official new member of Team 7. Sakura couldn't believe what she heard. She and Naruto looked back at Kakashi and Tsunade for confirmation. Yes, Tsunade confirmed. Effective immediately, Sai is now part of Team 7 and Uchiha Sasuke will no longer be counted as an active member of your team. He will be placed in the bingo books as a B-class missing nin. Kakashi remained neutral and gave no reaction to the news, which was more than what could be said of Sakura and Naruto. Naruto wanted to give a reply but stopped himself from doing so as Jiraiya and in Naruto's words from earlier replayed in his mind. Sakura turned to Naruto and expected him to give a loud outburst in outrage. To her and everyone else's surprise, he gave no reaction nor did he start ranting about his promise to get Sasuke back. But Tsunade-sama, Sakura asked, won't there be future missions of us or anyone in Konoha going after Sasuke wherever he may be? If that happens, Tsunade made very clear, it won't be for him being given a full pardon and be allowed to be reinstated as a Konoha shinobi. It'll be for him to face trial and sentence for his offenses against the village. I'm sorry, but I will not overlook or turn a blind eye to his crimes. At this point, Tsunade and Kakashi were expecting Naruto to start shouting and yelling at the top of lungs to against what she was stating. Once again, Naruto gave no reaction as he stood there like a statue. They started to wonder if what she was saying put him in shock. A moment later the silence was broken. Sasuke was a full-fledged genin, thus making him an adult according to shinobi standards, Kakashi said. Him becoming a missing nin and betraying Konoha makes him liable to receive whatever punishment the judicial body decides to pass down on him. In most if not all cases, betraying your village is punishable by death. A lesson the Uchiha clan learned firsthand, Tsunade thought coldly. Sakura was about to say something when, I understand, Naruto said with a voice completely devoid of emotions. Sakura turned and looked at Naruto. Kakashi and Tsunade were surprised by Naruto's acceptance of what was happening, but they didn't show it, at least not facially. Sakura looked like she wanted to say something as her eyes met Naruto's. Sakura-chan, Naruto interjected with a heavy heart, I don't like it any more than you do, but we're going to have to embrace the situation for what it is. Everyone in the office saw that Naruto wasn't putting on a pretense. He was being serious with everyone. With the exception of Sai, Tsunade, Kakashi and Sakura stared at Naruto in wonder. They were wondering just what kind of transformation did Naruto underwent in such a short time. Excuse me for being indelicate, Naruto, Tsunade said curiously behind her seriousness, but why are you willing to accept this without giving me so much of an argument about your promise to get Sasuke back? To tell you the truth, I thought you of all people here would be the most adamant about doing all you can to get Sasuke back to Konoha, never going back on your word as you would always say. Naruto took a moment to gather his thoughts as everyone in the room waited for his reply. When he was done, he spoke, I did make that promise, that I did. I did it for Sakura-chan and myself, wanting Team 7 to be back together again. But, yelling and arguing about what you decreed won't improve anything. And honestly, I don't really know what to think. I know how much you value your promises to your friends, Naruto, Tsunade said, but this has to be done, promises or not. I will not play favorites with traitors to satisfy anyone's personal interests. Sakura looked at Naruto and found that he was heavily troubled by what Tsunade was saying. From what she saw, everything Naruto had originally set himself to do to carry out his lifetime promise to her was crashing down on him, hard. Naruto, Sakura sympathetically mumbled in a very low undertone. She then remembered her thoughts about Naruto and Sasuke from the other day. She remembered what she was meditating on while she was in her room and how it involved Naruto heavily. Sigh, Tsunade said, if you wish, you may tell your new teammates a little about yourself. Giving the group one of his fake smiles, Sai said, I know I can't replace whatever spot Uchiha Sasuke might have filled in with your team's dynamics, but I believe that I can prove myself to be reliable and trustworthy teammate. In time, I hope you two will come to accept me as part of your team. Plus art paintings are one of my specialties. Other than that, that's all I have to say really. Ba-chan, Naruto asked, is there anything else you wanted us for? Other than that, Tsunade said, no. Since Kakashi and Sakura haven't completely recovered, I have no missions for your team as of yet. So you're all dismissed. Unless there was something you wanted to discuss with me. Turning around, Naruto began walking to the door. No, Ba-chan. There's pretty much nothing more I have to say. Without saying another word, Naruto left the office and started on his way out of the tower, leaving everyone else behind. After exiting the building, the blonde Jinchuriki wandered around aimlessly as everything that happened all today was occupying his mind and thoughts. For the next 27 minutes he walked around the village, not failing to notice the villagers' reactions to him as they either move away from him or did so while pulling their children away from them. Sighing, he traveled and went to one of the training grounds. Arriving there, he found Sakura standing by one of the 3 wooden posts as though she was deep in thought about something herself. Before he could say anything, Sakura turned to see Naruto behind her. Naruto, Sakura greeted, I was hoping you'd find your way here. This surprised Naruto to say the least, but he kept his behavior in check. You were? Naruto asked. I was hoping to talk to you, Sakura said. I'm sure you remember this spot, yes. Looking around, Naruto saw that he definitely knew where he was. This was where we officially became Team 7 after passing Kakashi-sensei's test, Naruto said. I was the one tied to that stupid post though. Well, Sakura said, you were the most brazen of us back then, but you came a long way from how you used to be. You really changed a lot. Thanks, Naruto smiled. I strive to improve, you know. Sakura's smile partly died down as what she had in mind to do now was coming into play. Naruto, Sakura asked, I know you're upset about what Tsunade-sama said earlier about Sasuke-kun being placed in the bingo books as a missing nin. Deep down you looked like everyone was turning against you. It was hard hearing that from Ba-chan, Naruto said. In the beginning she was supportive about me wanting to retrieve Sasuke, but for some reason she completely turned against it and condemned Sasuke. Naruto was expecting to hear something from Naruto, but for some reason Naruto wasn't communicating with him, as though he had nothing to say to him. Now we have this new guy that's said to be Sasuke-kun's replacement, Sakura said. I know it'll take having him on our team some getting used to. I will admit that he does look a little bit like Sasuke-kun, only paler. You won't like him much after you hear some of the things he says bluntly about us, Naruto said. Don't worry, Sakura said with gesture of cracking her knuckles. If he steps out of line with me, I'll just put him in his place. He's stronger than he let on when you saw him, Naruto warned. I wouldn't advise you taking him lightly. When he attacked me earlier, it was clear that he was a very skilled ninja, perhaps Haichunin level. Sakura simply nodded while making a mental note of what Naruto said. Sakura-chan, Naruto apologized. I'm sorry that changes in circumstances will not allow me fulfill my sworn promise to you in getting Sasuke back. Clearly, he will not be welcomed back and allowed to rejoin our team. Team 7 will never go back to the way it was. Naruto, Sakura said, getting the blonde's attention. That time when I begged you to bring Sasuke-kun back, I know that deep down you still have love for Sasuke, Sakura-chan, Naruto replied sympathetically, unknowingly triggering something to spark within Sakura's being. Sasuke's desertion have hurt both of us and you especially since I placed a great deal of stress and pressure on you, Sakura interjected with some of her emotions leaking through, and making you promise me to bring Sasuke-kun back only added to your burden as a Jinchuriki. Naruto finished for Sakura. It was a burden I chose to carry for your sake. At that time, no matter what it took or how long it took, I wanted to see you happy with Sasuke again. That was the problem, Naruto, Sakura retorted loudly, causing Naruto to take a few steps back from her, fearing she was going to hit repeatedly. I was never happy trying to get involved with Sasuke-kun. I just never allowed myself to see the truth or even admit the truth to myself until the other day, especially after everything that happened recently these past few weeks. Sakura's pent-up emotions were starting to override her judgment as she continued. The truth is I had no romantic relationship or bond with Sasuke-kun at all. He never once expressed any form of interest in me. Whenever I asked him out or suggested training together, he'd coldly turn me away with cruel words or he would just walk off, completely ignoring me like I was a distraction. And like the senseless girl I just continued trying to win his affections despite his insults and cold nature. thinking that eventually I'd be able to change his views about me and in time get him to like me for me. And you know what? Through it all, he never once praised or complimented me. What Sakura was feeling was something that she had to get out of her system if she ever desired to become the kunoichi she said she wanted to become. Naruto stood by not knowing now to react to the situation before him. Sakura remembered the incident in the hospital when Sasuke coldly slapped the sliced apple she offered him out of her hand before stepping and crushing it under his feet as he went to the roof of the hospital to fight Naruto. The female genin, whether she was aware of it or not, now had tears falling down her face as her head lowered. Sasuke-kun looked down on me and stepped on all of the kindness I showed him without so much of a second thought. On top of that, I nearly lost completely a great friendship I had with Ino all because we allowed our selfish and shallow interests in Sasuke-kun to be of more significance than our bonds. It was only recently that Ino and I reconciled and started rebuilding our friendship again from the bitter turn it made. Naruto recalled Jiraiya's words about the meaningful bonds with true friends that Hinata, Shikamaru, Ryota and the others were trying to establish with him. Hearing Sakura bring that up made him see further Jiraiya's point. Sasuke-kun thinks of me as nothing more than an obstacle to his ambitions. He even knocked me unconscious and left me outside on the bench on the night he left Konoha for Oto. Ultimately, sobbed, I came to realize that Sasuke-kun treated me, sobbed a few times, the same way I treated you Naruto. Every time I think about it after I learned the whole truth about your life as the Jinchuriki, I just feel ashamed and disgusted with myself. Without thinking twice about it, Sakura moved toward Naruto and embraced him as she wept openly on his shoulders. I'm so sorry. Forgive me, Naruto. Naruto, blushing from being held in Sakura's arms for the first time in his life, was left entirely speechless. If there was something he wanted to say, he couldn't find the words for it. Without thinking twice, Naruto slowly embraced Sakura, who welcomed the embrace. It shocked the blonde Jinchuriki that Sakura kept all of those emotions and feelings of guilt bottled up inside herself. But after some time, such negative emotions could only stay contained so long before they become too much to contain anymore. It's okay, Sakura-chan, Naruto consoled, I don't blame you for anything. Please don't cry and be upset. I don't like seeing you unhappy. Sakura gradually calmed down, but she kept herself in Naruto's arms while still keeping him in hers. A few moments later, Sakura broke her silence. Naruto, Sakura said, I was serious when I said earlier that I want to become a better friend and person for you. I don't want that promise you swore to me to be an additional load for you to carry anymore. For both of our sakes, release yourself from that lifetime promise you made. It's not worth the long years of sorrow and pain. But Sakura-chan, Naruto was cut off when Sakura held and tightly pressed herself into him, much to the blonde's surprise. His face blushed hotly from the feeling of her body pressed this closely against his. It was something he thought only possible in his dreams. Sakura-chan never hugged me affectionately before, Naruto realized as another memory came to mind, neither did Ino for that matter. Both Ino and Sakura-chan really have changed. Please, Sakura pleaded sincerely, don't put yourself through this. You've already been through enough. I wouldn't be able to live with myself knowing that I added more to your suffering to satisfy my own selfish dreams. We can't live in the past, and honestly, I don't want us to anymore. Please Naruto, let it go. Naruto stood where he was with Sakura holding onto him tightly in her embrace. Everything was coming down on him all at once and all in the same day. First, his subconscious told him to forego all thoughts about going for Sasuke. Then there was Jiraiya, who told him the same with while adding more deep words to his reasons. After that, Tsunade had Sasuke replaced with Sai while making it official that Sasuke will be recorded as a wanted criminal, with Kakashi giving no arguments against any possible sentence passed against him. Now Sakura was begging to let go of his promise in getting Sasuke back while crying about her miserable she was trying to gain Sasuke's affections. He thought momentarily about what happened before they came to the Hokage Tower. Sakura-chan, Naruto started, remember earlier when I said there was something that was on my mind about what Ero Deifu told me? Sakura nodded, do you want to talk it? I'll listen, this is, if you comfortable with me hearing it. Naruto pulled away from Sakura and sat down on the grass. Sakura followed and sat next to him. So what was it? Sakura asked. Naruto closed his eyes for a moment, wishing Naruto was there to give him whatever support he could give him. Unfortunate for him it wasn't to be as in. Naruto didn't speak. Naruto saw that he was clearly on his own. Opening his eyes, Naruto started to speak and explain to Sakura what happened earlier between him and Jiraiya before she came by. The female genin didn't interrupt as Naruto laid out everything the Toad Sage told him. She herself couldn't help but find irrefutable to truth to what Jiraiya told Naruto. And that's everything. Naruto concluded his explanation. With all that's been happening lately, these sudden changes have been too difficult to accept. Sakura remained quiet as Naruto continued to express his feelings. But soon she decided to speak. I know you feel unhappy about how some things have been turning out, Naruto, Sakura asked, and I understand that my emotional reaction wasn't what you were expecting either. But I bottle all of those feelings of hurt, anger, sorrow and regret for a very long time. I was only able to ignore and suppress them for so long until I had to get them out of my system. So you really don't have any feelings for Sasuke anymore? Naruto asked. As hard as it was for her to admit it, Sakura replied, some of it is still there. It's not something I can just shut off like an on and off switch. It'll take some time for me to work through it, but I'm sure I can. Team 7 will never be the same again, Naruto said, and Ba-chan isn't going to make any effort to restore Sasuke after all that's happened. Sakura wanted to say something but she decided to stay quiet. Although what everyone said is true, Naruto continued, I still have this internal conflict about accepting the truth as part of me doesn't want to hear or listen to any of it. I so badly wanted to believe that I could save and bring Sasuke back. I know it was selfish of me in how I tried to disregard everything he did and how everyone was affected by it. I put off what everyone else did for me in favor of someone who willingly betrayed and tried to kill me. I wanted to convince myself in believing that it was entirely Orochimaru and Itachi's fault for how Sasuke turned out. I was willing to make excuses and scapegoats for Sasuke instead of accepting the truth for what it is. Part of me just wanted things to go back to the way they were. Naruto paused for a moment. Sakura, after listening to his words, thought about what he was saying. After a few minutes, Sakura chose to speak. Naruto, Sakura said as she looked directly at him, to be perfectly honest with you, it would be both foolish and stupid of you to wish such a thing. Naruto looked at Sakura with a surprised look. Sakura though continued, truthfully, I'm happy things turned out as they did. It opened my eyes to a world of truth the others and I didn't know and weren't told about. Think about Naruto. If things went back to the way they were before all of this, would Shikamaru have been moved to investigate and earnestly search out the truth about your familial ancestry, setting in motion these chains of events? Would you be where you are now with your status in the village changing for the better because of what Shikamaru has done for you? Would you have learned the truth about your parents and the clan status your family possessed in Konoha? Would I or any of the other genins have found out the truth to why your life was the way it was for all these years while not being told the truth about what really happened to Kyuubi and why you were mistreated and abused by the villagers? Would any of us have changed and bonded more strongly with you sooner despite the fierce opposition from the rest of the villagers? Would you have been given your rightful birthright as Yondaimi's only heir? Would you and I be having this conversation now, seeking to improve ourselves, our friendship and bonds with each other? Naruto had to seriously think about what all the points Sakura was telling him. He saw that with everything he was told earlier by everyone else along with all that Sakura was telling him, he's been doing so many things backwards. He started to understand why Naruto and Jiraiya were telling him that wishing and living for the past and not the future was dangerous. His eyes were finally started to see things clearer. I really am that stupid, am I? Naruto remarked with head lowered toward the grass, some Namikaze clan heir and leader all make. I can't believe how incredibly blind and immature I've been. Sakura placed an understanding hand on his shoulder, causing Naruto to turn and look at her. We were both being selfish, immature and stupid, Naruto, Sakura said. I understand how you feel. Neither of us wanted to grow up and embrace reality while holding onto pipe dreams. But we can't hold onto the past and an unrealistic fantasy that someday Sasuke-kun will suddenly change, be brought back and accepted back into the village with open arms. And I can no longer lie to myself in believing that he would open his heart and want a relationship with me. You and I would never be happy spending years training while holding on to false expectations that will never happen. You're right, Sakura-chan. Naruto accepted. That wouldn't be productive or smart on our part. Just because Sasuke-kun is no longer here doesn't mean we can't move on with our lives, Sakura said. True, it'll take effort, but if we prove to be there for each other with Kakashi-sensei, Sai, Hinata and the others helping us out, I'm sure we can be just as happy if not happier. Sakura paused for a moment and smiled. So what do you say, Naruto? Do you want to give the new Team 7 a chance? Naruto saw that Sakura was being completely truthful and sincerely in her words. Through this he started seeing her with a new level of respect and admiration, just like with Hinata. Yes, Naruto answered, I'm willing to give the new Team 7 a chance. And, I'll release myself from my lifetime promise. But if I do get the chance to go after Sasuke again, I'll try not to let old feelings and memories cloud my judgment. I would hate for that to be my ultimate undoing. Naruto stood up off the grass and Sakura followed and stood by him. Are you feeling much better now? Sakura asked. Naruto turned and flashed her on of his famous goofy wide smiles. More than better. Naruto replied, I feel great. Before Sakura could say anything, Naruto embraced her. Thank you, Sakura-chan, Naruto said, you truly are a smart, pretty and precious friend to me. I promise to protect and be there for you and all of my true friends. Datbeo. I'm very happy to hear that, Naruto, Sakura said as she returned the embrace, and I promise to become what I told you I want to be, a better friend and person for you. From a distance behind the trees in the shadows, Jiraiya and Tsunade looked on at the two genins. To think she managed to get through and succeed where we had trouble getting through, Jiraiya said, how do you women do it? Well, it's no secret that Naruto always held a special spot for my apprentice in his heart, Tsunade remarked, it's only logical that he'd listen to her. Still, I'm happy to see that things worked out and that they decided to forgive each other and make a better future for themselves. The girl promised to become a better person for the Gaki, Jiraiya mentioned. Any ideas what she meant by that? I'm sure she meant that she promised to change and improve her image as a female in Kunoichi, Tsunade replied. After all, Sakura came a very long way from how she was before and I'm proud of her new developments and changes. I see great things for both of our apprentices. Likewise, Jiraiya agreed before turning to see Sai making his appearance and heading to where Sakura and Naruto were with a wrapped package in his hand. Am I interrupting? Sai asked, causing Naruto and Sakura to jump and pull away from each other. Sakura fought down a blush that crept on her face. Sai, Naruto asked, what are you doing here? Am I not part of Team 7 now? Sai replied before turning to Sakura. Sakura, Sai greeted, I have a present I want to give to you. Sai went and handed her the gift-wrapped package. This is for you, Sai said with his fake smile, I put much thought into this. I hope you appreciate the effort. Sakura smiled and blushed as she accepted the present. Though the package was light, she was looking forward to whatever it was Sai got for her. Naruto, while in control of himself, was wondering what Sai was up to. Nichan said nothing about Sai having a crush on Sakura-chan, Naruto thought suspiciously, and he called her a she-male earlier, though not to her face. What is he trying to pull? Sakura hurriedly unwrapped the present and found a decorated box underneath it. Maybe Sai isn't as bad as Naruto made him out to be, Sakura thought with the same smile still pasted on her face. She opened the box and found something she wasn't expecting as her eyes widened in disbelief. Inside the box was a brown paper bag with 2 holes for eyes made in it with a card next to it that read with a smiley face, do us all a favor. I think it suits you, Sai remarked. That was when Naruto felt a strong bloodlust that spiked up as Sakura threw the box to the side. Bastard! Sakura screeched in rage as, I'll kill you. She ran after Sai with the intent of beating him down brutally, forgetting what Naruto told her earlier about Sai's skills as a ninja as he effortlessly evaded every blow she threw at him. Naruto stood by and watched from where he was standing. What was that about giving the new Team 7 a chance, Sakura-chan? Naruto joked under his breath. Jiraiya and Tsunade's sweat dropped at the scene playing out in front of them. They still have a long way to go, Tsunade sighed. If they don't kill each other first, Jiraiya remarked. 4 days later, Tsunade had called an assembly of all the villagers of Konoha. All of the ninjas and citizens were assembling around the Hokage Tower wondering what was happening and what going to be announced. They knew that it was something big if the Hokage called all of the villagers for this assembly. Naruto was nowhere in sight. The other genins gathered together knowing what was going to announced by Tsunade. The clan leaders and village elders of Konoha all knew what was going to happen, but they remained quiet while standing among the crowd. Ryota was also among the genins waiting to the proclamation to commence. Moments later, Tsunade and Jiraiya appeared on the roof of the Hokage Tower. Tsunade signaled everyone on the ground to quiet down before beginning her speech. People of Konohagakure no Sato, Tsunade dressed. 13 years ago our village was attacked by the Biju known as Kyuubi no Yoko, killing many of our ninjas, men, women and children. Our late Yondaime was said to have killed the beast at the expense of his life, saving the village from being destroyed by the monster. We already heard that story, Tsunade-sama, one of the younger villagers yelled. It's been said to us many times. Yes, Tsunade continued, and for that very reason, I'm going to set the story straight. I'm going to reveal what really happened the night Kyuubi was defeated. I'm going to explain the truth and make known how this village has failed to honor Yondaime's final wish. Some of the older generation citizens and ninjas gulped as they now got nervous. They knew this was going to come with repercussions. In Tsunade's hand was a certain book she did well to keep out of sight. She wondered if it came to it, would she choose to use it as a last resort? Many miles from Konoha, Tsuchiko was sprinting fast from tree to tree. After visiting a small town to rest in, she received a tip from one of the traveling merchants that stopped by there that he and his young assistant last saw Ryota in Konoha. What threw the young Kunoichi in a loop was what the merchant told her about Ryota now going by the title, Konoha's Stone Leaf. Traitorous bitch. Tsuchiko growled while trying to keep her emotions in check. I should have known she'd betray us and join Konoha the first chance she gets. Despite the protest her lungs was begging for, the medic Kunoichi continued moving at the fast pace she was going as she made her way to Konoha. Meanwhile, people of Konohagakure no Sato, Tsunade dressed. 13 years ago our village was attacked by the Biju known as Kyuubi no Yoko, killing many of our ninjas, men, women and children. Our late Yondaime was said to have killed the beast at the expense of his life, saving the village from being destroyed by the monster. We already heard that story, Tsunade-sama, one of the younger villagers yelled. It's been said to us many times. Yes, Tsunade continued, and for that very reason, I'm going to set the story straight. I'm going to reveal what really happened the night Kyuubi was defeated. I'm going to explain the truth and make known how this village has failed to honor Yondaime's final wish. Many in the crowd were murmuring to each about what Tsunade was saying, mostly the civilian youths. The older civilians already didn't like where this was going. Everyone, be silent as I now explain the truth that's been kept from you for all these years, Tsunade ordered authoritatively. With a minute everyone was quiet. A Biju, Tsunade continued, as a monstrous beast that's made up of pure concentrated chakra. Therefore, no living human could actually kill it, let alone the strongest of the 9 Bijus that exist. Yondaime, the Yellow Flash himself couldn't kill such a creature. No, he resorted to another means to defeat the monster. She looked at everyone momentarily, expecting an outburst to occur. She had ordered her Anbu ninjas and Junins to deal with whatever ruckus any of the villagers would instigate during her speech. Yondaime resorted to using a dark ancient Kinjutsu Ugi to seal away the Kyuubi. This dark Fujin jutsu required the sacrifice of both the user and a newborn baby whose umbilical cord was freshly cut right after it was born. Many young females and children found what they heard to be one of the cruelest things only one could do, especially to a newborn. Yondaime summoned an entity of another world to seal the Kyuubi within the belly of the newborn in exchange for his life, thus the reason why Yondaime died the night Kyuubi was defeated. His dying wish was for the child, who was forced to carry the burden as the Kyuubi's jailer, to be seen as the hero who saves Konoha every day from the Kyuubi's wrath. However, when Sandaime revealed the truth about what Yondaime have done, many of you of the older generation spat on Yondaime's sacrifice and called for the newborn child's death, which would have most probably released the Kyuubi out of its prison since the seal was still new. Sandaime was forced to put in place a law forbidding anyone from revealing the truth about the child being a Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi under penalty of death. Though many of you obeyed with your words, all of you disobeyed with your hearts and scorned and abused the child for crimes the Kyuubi has done, while passing your poisonous hatred down to your children to mistreat the child. Who is this Jinchuriki child of whom you speak? A civilian teen girl asked out loud. Tsunade turned to look behind her, finding a nervous Naruto standing by the entrance with Jiraiya next to him. The slug princess gestured for the blonde Jinchuriki to step forward toward her. Go, Naruto encouraged. This is your time, Naruto. Show them who you really are. Naruto was happy that Naruto was talking to him again. They managed to mend matters between them and reopened their line of communication. Okay. Nichan. Naruto thought confidently, here I go. Naruto walked forward and made his way over to Tsunade. As he did so, Tsunade declared, I present to you. Naruto reached and stood by her at her right. Yondaimi's greatest legacy that saves this village every day, Tsunade exclaimed, Uzumaki Naruto. There was a mixture of reactions from the crowd. Many believed it to be outrageous. The younger villagers and ninjas gasped upon seeing Naruto after hearing what Tsunade said. There's no way that creature is a hero as he's proclaimed to be, shouted one of the older villagers. Other villagers were making statements similar to that line of thinking. The younger villagers and ninjas though didn't know what to think. Silence. Tsunade yelled with a commanding tone, bringing the outcries to a surprising halt. There's more to Naruto that you people aren't aware of, Tsunade continued. Yes, Yondaime used him as the living vessel to jail the Kyuubi, but it wasn't by a random choosing. Yondaime, who had a strong sense of justice, couldn't ask any of you parents with children to do something that he wouldn't have been willing to do with his own son. Huge gasps as complete shock and disbelief spread among the crowd of listeners. Take a good look at Naruto, Tsunade said. Can't any of you see Yondaime's obvious features in Naruto's facial appearance? Many in the crowd now decided to really compare Minato's facial features with that of Naruto's. When did, many of them especially the younger villagers couldn't believe how they completely ignored how Minato and Naruto resembled each other so closely. Yondaime married in secret to a woman named Uzumaki Kushina, who descended from the once mighty Uzumaki clan. Yondaime used his own son and heir to be a living sacrifice to be used as the Kyuubi's jailer, Tsunade continued. His final wish was for his son, his own flesh and blood, to be seen as the hero that saves Konoha every day with the sacrifice he has to make every day. It was a wish that Yondaime practically made on his deathbed, a wish that you people have spat on for all these years with your contempt and discrimination against Naruto. The younger villagers and ninjas of Naruto age group started having feelings of guilt for being amongst those that made Naruto's life difficult and shame for allowing their older folks' bitterness toward Naruto to influence their thinking about a boy they never knew. Even now, Tsunade saw that some in the crowd were yelling and arguing with their folks who futilely tried to justify their actions. Others though still refused to believe Naruto to be the son of their greatest Hokage. That's a lie. Some were yelling, Naruto's is no son of our Yondaime. I'll never accept such an illusion that creature would have us believe, another yelled, he's not the last of the Namikaze. Tsunade saw that a violent riot was going to start up and already some of the Junins and Anbu were dealing with the instigators. At this rate, Tsunade thought, life for Naruto will become even harder. Most of the villagers may never accept him as the rightful Namikaze heir. She looked at Naruto and saw that he was completely calmed and in control of his emotions. If anything, she was expecting him to shed tears of sorrow for how badly the villagers were reacting toward him. She was impressed and proud of how Naruto stayed composed in spite of the situation he and his status were in. Naruto, Tsunade mentally said compassionately. Looking at the book in her hand, she steeled herself and came to a decision. Sarutobi-sensei, Tsunade said within herself, I'm sorry. But for Naruto's sake and the Sake his family's name and honor for always being loyal to this village, I'm going to break your promise. Hear my words, people of Konoha, as I'm about to reveal the ugly truth your Sandaime never revealed to any of you, Tsunade declared with an iron tone. Kyuubi No. Yoko did not attack Konoha on its own desire. It was summoned and ordered to attack the village. The one who summoned the Kyuubi was an Uchiha. Those words placed the villagers in absolute silence. Naruto too was also shocked by this revelation while wondering if what he heard was true, as did the rest of Konoha's ninjas. This unknown Uchiha was the one who summoned the Kyuubi to destroy Konoha, which led to Yondaime's demise and Naruto's misfortune. But it doesn't end there with the Uchiha clan. No, things go even deeper with that clan. Kaharu and Homura were getting nervous as they wondered how Tsunade could have learned the truth about what they, Sandaime and Danzo, had done years ago. This could be trouble for us, Homaru thought bitterly. Ever since that event involving that Uchiha, Tsunade continued, the Uchiha clan had always been kept under tight surveillance. This led to a lot of bad blood developing between Konoha and the Uchiha clan, as members of that clan felt they were robbed of their power of influence in the village. In effect, the Uchiha clan, civilian and shinobi members alike conspired together and sought to carry out a coup d'etat against the Sandaime and all of Konoha. They were planning on starting a civil war against all of you and take over the established government and ninja force. That war would have thrown all of Hino Kuni, Fire Country, into utter chaos, allowing enemy nations and shinobi villages to attack Konoha and all of Hino Kuni, thus starting the Fourth Great Shinobi War. To prevent that from happening, Sandaime and the hierarchy planted a spy within that clan. That spy was none other than Uchiha Itachi himself. Multiple expressions of disbelief spread all over everyone's faces, even the Anbu found the news hard to swallow. Itachi was one of Konoha's worst traitors, there was no way he was on their side. Itachi was a double agent, acting as a spy for his parents and clan when in truth he was secretly reporting all of the treasonous actions of his clansmen to the Sandaime hierarchy. Sandaime was hoping to negotiate with the Uchiha clan leader, but he and the rest of the Uchiha clan were fixed on carrying out their coup and starting their war against Konoha. And that was when Sandaime, having no other choice, gave Itachi a secret S-class mission. He was to wipe out the Uchiha clan, everyone, man, woman and child involved in their treasonous plot. This became known to all as the Uchiha clan massacre. Itachi, however, pleaded with Sandaime to have Sasuke spared on the account that his younger brother was the only Uchiha that didn't know about his clan's plot. He also pleaded to allow himself to take the fall for his clan's crimes, making it look like he was the traitor so that his clan's name wouldn't be ruined. He hoped that Sasuke and no one else ever learned the truth and that Sasuke would one day restore and rebuild the Uchiha clan, a new clan loyal to the village under a new form of honor after bringing down the proclaimed traitor of their clan. Itachi wanted the ugly truth about his clan to stay solely with him, Sandaime and the hierarchy while they carry that truth to the grave. Though Sandaime granted his requests, things still did not turn out as Itachi hoped. Sasuke turned traitor, following in his clan's footsteps of treason and joining one of our worst traitors, Orochimaru. He nearly killed the son of your Yondaime, the son of a loyal ninja clan of this village whom you people have scorned. Sasuke inverted everything Itachi did in his and this village's behalf. Naruto had a hard time understanding what he was hearing. The Uchiha clan was planning on betraying us. Itachi did all that he did for Konoha. Naruto wondered, but why did he join the Akatsuki? I tell you this truth today because I'm not obligated in any way to uphold Sandaime's promise to Itachi. I refuse to have the name of the loyal Uzumaki and Namikaze clan reviled and shamed while the name of the traitorous Uchiha clan is revered as fallen brethren and martyrs. Tsunade held the book up above her head so everyone in the crowd could see. This very book was written by Sandaime himself, Tsunade revealed. It possessed Sandaime's very own signature and seal, thus authenticating the book. It's the surviving tangible proof that everything that I said of the Uchiha clan is true. Before anyone could say anything, Tsunade threw the book at the crowd, much to everyone's shock and disbelief. A few moved out of the way as the book landed on the ground in front of them. Take a look at the book for yourselves, Tsunade said, it's your choice. As of now, I declare Naruto as the rightful sole heir of the joint Uzumaki Namikaze clan by birthright. Everything that belonged to his mother and father will now be his. If you have a problem with that, take it up with Jiraiya in person. This assembly is over. Tsunade turned and walked off from the crowd's sight while a stupefied and speechless Naruto remained where he stood like a statue. Jiraiya stood by the entrance patiently as watching and seeing the entire event play out. Naruto, Tsunade said, grabbing the young teen's attention as he snapped back to reality. Wordlessly he walked over to Tsunade and Jiraiya. Meanwhile some of the villagers walked over and picked up the journal that Tsunade threw at them. One of the villagers opened and started reading aloud the contents that was written in the journal. Meanwhile back inside the Hokage tower. That was quite a climatic stunt you pulled Tsunade Heim, Jiraiya remarked, exposing the ugly truth about the Uchiha clan that Itachi hoped would never see the light of day. I'm sure that you're aware that this will come with major repercussions. Be that as it may, Tsunade replied, we'll deal with them should they come. Somehow I think part of Sarutobi-sensei wanted the truth to be discovered. Otherwise, he wouldn't have written that book and locked it away in the vault for only the Hokages to see. Jiraiya said nothing to that effect as the three of them continued walking. What a waste, Naruto remarked. What a sad waste. Jiraiya and Tsunade turned their attention to the teen. Sasuke devoted himself solely to the purpose of avenging his clan, Naruto continued, not knowing the truth to why they were wiped out in the first place. To be honest, I'm finding it hard to swallow. To think that Jisun had Itachi, as I've told you before Gaki, Jiraiya said, the life of the Hokage and Shinohi isn't always glamorous. But Itachi is part of the Akatsuki, Naruto said, and if what was said about Itachi being a double agent is true, why would he join that organization? His reasons are still unknown, Jiraiya said, my spy network wasn't able to gain much about that. Did you both know the truth about the Uchiha clan? Naruto asked Tsunade and Jiraiya. No, Tsunade replied, I didn't find out until only a few days ago when I found Sarutobi-sensei's book explaining the history between my clan and the Uchihas. To make a long story short, our clans didn't get along. Sasuke betrayed and deserted Konoha to fulfill his quest to get stronger to kill Itachi for massacring their clan. Naruto thought out loud, when he hears the truth, when Itachi founds that Sandame's promise was overthrown. We'll deal those matters, Naruto, Tsunade assured, you have no reason to place that load on your shoulders. Besides, you have other matters to be concerned with. I'm sure your friends would love to give you their support now. Why do you go see them? It was clear to Naruto that Tsunade wanted to discuss the topic about the Uchiha clan no further. Taking a hint, Naruto agreed and hurried from the two Sanins out of the Hokage tower. Jiraiya and Tsunade continued walking together until they reached her office. When they arrived, they found Homura, Kaharu and Danzo already there inside the office. Homura and Kaharu's expression clearly showed that they weren't pleased with her actions not too long ago, not like Tsunade cared anyway. Danzo looked as neutral as ever with no emotion expressions to read. Oh, this is going to be fun, Tsunade remarked with a touch of sarcasm. Meanwhile, Naruto left the tower and found Shikamaru, Hinata and all the other genins standing outside waiting for him. Ryota was also present among the group. Naruto-kun, Hinata said as she walked over to him, are you alright? I'm fine, Naruto said, though Hinata and the others didn't look convinced, just a lot more happened that I'm sure none of us were expecting. You mean about the dark truth behind the Uchiha massacre, Shino said, I can honestly agree that there were many secrets that the government didn't want us or anyone else to know. Very troublesome for Sasuke when wind of what happened here today reaches his and Itachi's ears, Shikamaru remarked. Sasuke's actions went against the intricate illusion Itachi wanted him and all of us to believe. His actions will come back upon his own head, Neji said, there's no telling how this will affect his sanity. Should that matter to us? Ryota remarked with a shrug, Sasuke isn't your comrade anymore. And if he decides attacks us when he finds out that his clan's destruction was in fact ordered by Konoha, Choji asked. Then we'll deal with him should that happen, Naruto replied, just like every other missing nin. This earned the group's attention as many in the group minus Sakura had raised eyebrows. Naruto-kun, you were always the most youthful about bringing Sasuke back, Lee said. Did today's event lead you to have a change of heart, especially toward your promise to Sakura-san? Actually, Naruto explained, I came to that decision days ago. Sakura-chan and I talked about it in length and we both decided that we both had to accept the cold hard truth for what it is and to let go of the past. Sakura nodded in confirmation. As Tenten was looking around, she pointed out, a lot of kids and teenagers are still arguing with their folks. Obviously they're not happy with how we've been lied to over the years. They've been inexcusably unyouthful and manifested false flames, Lee remarked. I don't think anything they say can justify their actions. The sins of their past is coming back on their heads, Shikamaru said. It's going to be a long while before the older ones can regain the trust of the younger generation. A lot has been happening lately, Ino pointed out. I can only wonder what else we are to expect. This is only the beginning, I'm sure, Sai said. speaking for the first time after a long period of silence. Well, let's not dwell on that too much, Naruto said. Whatever happens, we'll just have to be ready to face it together. Everyone nodded. Naruto Nichan. The group turned to see Konohamaru, Moegi and Udon hurrying over to them. Hey guys, what's up? Naruto greeted the young trio. Standing in front of the Naruto, Konohamaru said, I can't believe that you're also related to a Hokage and the Yondaime of all people. I can't believe I paid no attention to the resemblance between you two, Moegi admitted. We've seen Yondaime's picture so many times, yet we never gave attention to what mistakenly appeared to be the most insignificant details, Udon commented. You can thank my Jisen and the other older farts for that, Konohamaru remarked. I can't believe how we were led to believe that the Uchiha clan were noble people when they died, when in truth they were actually lower than scum. I'm sure the villagers feel like morons now for worshipping that clan of traitors. The name of the Uchiha clan has lost all of its respect and admiration, Sai stated. No one will ever think highly of that clan ever again. Sai. Sakura berated as she smacked him across the head. Watch your language in front of children. Sai could have easily avoided that, but it was one of those few times he let Sakura get away with her actions. So how does it feel knowing that you're the son of Yondaime and his sole heir? Moegi asked. Scratching his head, Naruto replied, no different really. I'm very happy knowing that I had parents that didn't just abandon me but that they really did love me. But I'm still the same guy. But with power, Konohamaru remarked with a grin. Naruto won't let that go to his head, I'm sure, Shikamaru said. It's not in his nature to be that troublesome, I hope. Hey, Naruto retorted. Swallowing her nervousness, Hinata approached and took Naruto by the arm. Naruto-kun, Hinata invited with a blush on her face, since the day isn't over yet, would you, like to come by for some tea and cinnamon rolls? That sounds great. Naruto smiled. He was being tugged away, though I never been to your house before. Your folks won't mind, will they? Who could refuse the honor of having the Namikaze heir and son of our late Yondaime in their home? Hinata replied while she and Naruto left the group behind. That hot girl is finally stepping up to him. Konohamaru chuckled. It's about damn time too. You mean you knew Hinata-san like Naruto? Lee asked. Come on, Konohamaru remarked. How much more obvious could she make it? I just couldn't believe Nichan never picked up on it till now. Hey, Kiba asked. Weren't we supposed to meet up with Kurenai-sensei later? Kurenai-sensei canceled the meeting with us, Shino reminded. She figured that we would want to be there to support Naruto should anything happen. Hinata obviously wants to be his only support, Konohamaru remarked teasingly with a chuckle. That comment earned Konohamaru several frowns. You're not very funny, Konohamaru, Sakura scolded. I won't lose to you, Hinata, Ryota said within herself before turning to the group. Well everyone, I'm heading out. See ya. Ryota took off with a shunshin, leaving the scene in a cloud of white smoke. Sakura looked toward the direction Hinata and Naruto left in together. Many thoughts filled her head as she thought about what Tsunade revealed about Naruto's background and how Naruto's life was going to be affected as a result. She was also thinking about what Konohamaru said just a moment ago. Hey forehead girl, Ino called out, earth to forehead girl. Sakura snapped out of her thoughts. Huh, Sakura muttered cluelessly. You spaced out on us, forehead girl, Ino pointed out. What were you daydreaming about? Nothing really, Ino pig, Sakura replied. I'm going to leave and head to the hospital now to see what I can do there for the rest of the day. Bye, Sakura thought as she started heading out away from the group. Ino suspected something was up with Sakura, but she decided that she would address with her at another time and place. The rest of the group soon dispersed and went on their separate ways. Later that evening, at Jiraiya's house, Jiraiya was sipping some tea while sitting in the kitchen with Naruto. The blonde returned back only 25 minutes ago after spending the day at the Hyuga compound, mostly with Hinata. Jiraiya teased Naruto about his unofficial date with the Hyuga heiress, causing Naruto to snort with a light blush on his cheeks. In truth, Naruto had a fun time with Hinata, though Hanabi came by to observe Naruto here and there. Naruto felt awkward by Hanabi's actions as he saw how the younger Hyuga would look at him with critiquing and analyzing eyes. It was as though she was searching for whatever it was that made Naruto so interesting to Hinata besides what Hinata told her and what she and the others heard from Tsunade earlier. Hiyashi gave Naruto a few respectful words in greeting, but that was all. It didn't bother Naruto one bit since he wasn't expecting automatic changes from everyone's point of views about him. Ko, a member of the Hyuga clan who used to watch over Hinata when she was younger, couldn't believe how the same blonde Jinchuriki he always tried to get Hinata to stay away from was the very son of Yondaime. Tsunade's speech earlier made him feel inexcusably foolish and guilty for his past sins against Naruto. Without ceremony, Ko got on his hands and knees with his head bowed to the floor as he apologized to Naruto for being among the many who contributed to his bitter life. Naruto accepted his apology and assured that he carried no ill will towards him or anyone else. Several minutes later, a knock came from the front door. Who could that be? Naruto asked. Why don't you go find out, Gaki? Jiraiya told him. Shrugging, Naruto got up and went over to the front door. Opening the door, he saw his teammate standing there at the door. Sakura-chan, Naruto asked, what's up? Did Ba-chan call for us? No, Sakura said, I came by to see if you're alright. I was concerned about how you were feeling during today's assembly event. I didn't get to say much to you about it before Hinata snagged and took off with you. I see, Naruto replied, you want to come in. I'd love to, but I can't actually stay, unfortunately, Sakura said. I have to report to hospital in the morning to start a new training session with Tsunade-sama. Ba-chan is working you into the ground like a slave, huh, Naruto remarked. Naruto, have some respect for Tsunade-sama, Sakura scolded lightly. In any case, I'll see you tomorrow. Feel free to stop by and see me if you want to talk to me about anything. Bye. Sakura turned and made her way back home. Naruto closed and locked the door and then returned back to the kitchen. What did your teammate want? Jiraiya asked while sipping his tea. Nothing. She said that she just came by to check up on me and see how I was doing. Oh, Jiraiya replied, was that all? That's what Sakura-chan said, Naruto said. She left right after that. She was just concerned about me. Looks like your friendship with that girl has been making some gradual improvements these last couple of days, Jiraiya acknowledged. That's good to see. She said that I could stop by the hospital and see her if anything came up, Naruto said. I'm sure you coming to the hospital will save her the time and trouble sending you there instead, Jiraiya chuckled. Naruto snorted and frowned at his sensei, clearly not amused by the implication of his joke. We'll work on keeping Sakura in line if she still thinks she can use us as her anger management outlet, and Naruto said. Naruto wordlessly agreed with him, in his mind. A few hours later, it was past midnight and nearing 1 in the morning. Tsunade was in her office sitting down at her desk with an empty bottle of sake on top of her desk. Danzo, Homaru and Kaharu left her office hours ago after an intense argument that broke out between them, Tsunade and Jiraiya, concerning her actions during the assembly. Danzo played the role of the mediator between the two parties, not wanting things to get out of control between them. His intentions though weren't for their benefits but for the benefit of his own objectives. Danzo wanted the Uchiha clan gone since their betrayal and Tsunade's stunt in publicly denouncing that clan and Sasuke while making it clear that she wasn't duty-bound to keep Sandame's promise to Itachi gave Danzo a legit excuse to have Sasuke taken care of without Itachi carrying out his threatening blackmail against him for his actions against Sasuke. Inwardly, Danzo had a smile on his face. Jiraiya had left an hour after they did, knowing that Tsunade wanted to be left alone and not bothered by him or anyone else. Her head was pounding from the side effects of her partially drunken stupor, though she was becoming sober. It wasn't until another 4-5 minutes when her head stopped hurting. A moment later, Tsunade-sama. The door burst open with Shizune rushing in with an urgent look on her face. What is it? Tsunade inquired while becoming more serious. There's a chaotic riot at the Uchiha district, Shizune explained. Huge mobs of villagers stormed into the district and starting tearing the place apart. Even as we're speaking, they're burning and razing that district to the ground. There was a brief pause between the two medic kunoichis. After a minute the silence was broken. Are there any reports of ninja activities as all of this is happening? Tsunade asked. No Anbu or any of the other ninjas were reported to have been seen in the crowd of rioters, Shizune answered. It's as though they all turned a blind eye to what the villagers are doing. As will we, Tsunade replied. It sounds more like the villagers are doing me a favor. Shizune was partly taken aback by Tsunade's behavior. After today, Tsunade continued, I was planning on demolishing that district anyway. They just saved me the trouble doing it myself. So let it burn. Shizune gave no reply to that. After a short moment, Tsunade-sama, Shizune asked carefully, pardon my asking this, but what if Itachi decides to return? Tsunade thought for a moment, then replied, Itachi had no intentions of ever returning, especially since he joined the Akatsuki for reasons unknown. He placed all of his expectations in Sasuke, and clearly all of his hopes in Sasuke ended in failure. Itachi has nothing and no one in Konoha to come back to. Shizune took a moment to absorb Tsunade's words to her. What do you want me to do? Shizune asked. After the riot is over, Tsunade explained, find me some contractors, engineers and an architect. This gives me an opportunity to do something useful with that soon-to-be available plot of land with the treasury that once belonged to the Uchiha clan. That will be all. Without saying another word, Shizune left Tsunade's office, leaving the slug princess alone with her thoughts. Turning her chair, she looked out of the window to see the late-night skies over the village. Word about what happened was going to spread like wildfire through all of the Elements nations and the rest of the world. Congratulations, Tsunade. Tsunade said to herself in sarcasm, you really made history today. History was made indeed. Uzumaki, Naruto's clan's rise to nobility and prominence required, Uchiha, Sasuke's clan's fall to dishonor and shame. It's been 5 days since Tsunade's proclamation, and a great deal has taken place since that day. The entire Uchiha district was completely destroyed and burned to the ground. Not so much as a stone or brick remained standing in that once renowned territory. All of the ninjas, from Genin to Hokage, knew of the riot but gave no consideration to stopping it, not wanting to show any form of remorse or sympathy to a clan of traitors. During the second day after the proclamation, news of Tsunade's proclamation was indeed circulating throughout Hinokuni, and it soon started to extend even further beyond Hinokuni. With the way the news was spreading, it wouldn't be long until the other elemental nations and the Akatsuki got wind of the news. Also, since that proclamation, life for Naruto started improving. Many people, young and old, approached Naruto and apologized for their horrible treatment of him and asked for his forgiveness. Naruto accepted it, and only sought to be treated fairly like every other ninja in the village. During the third day, Hinata had spent most of her free time with Naruto. Though she still acted somewhat shyly around him, she was still making the desired improvements in building up her confidence. Ryota too wanted to spend more time with Naruto, but her hectic work schedule for the last few days left her with little to no time, much to her frustration. At the same time, many parents and other adults were dealing with the loss of trust and confidence their children and younger ninjas once had in them. With the amount of lies and cover-ups that were exposed by the Hokage herself, the younger generation didn't know what to believe or whom of the older generation they could truly trust without putting their word into question. Meanwhile, Naruto was at the training ground with Sakura and Sai. All three of them were waiting for Kakashi's to make an appearance, and as usual he was late. Does Kakashi-sensei arrive late all the time? Sai asked. You'll get used to it, Naruto said while sitting in a meditating stance on the grass under a shady tree. Sai said nothing more to Naruto and turned to look at Sakura. Seeing this, Sakura asked, and what are you looking at? Sakura didn't forget the stunt Sai pulled on her about that paper bag he wanted her to wear over her head and face. I couldn't help but acknowledge that you remind me of a boy I once knew, Sai remarked with a fake smile. Yep, Naruto remarked. Sai is just I as thought he would turn out be. You don't say, Naruto mentally replied. Sakura looked ready to pulverize Sai when a puff of smoke appeared and revealed Kakashi. Sorry I'm late, Kakashi said, I got lost on the road to life. Maybe if you use both of your eyes you'd see the road better, Naruto remarked cynically. Kakashi shrugged and addressed the team. I have an assignment to carry out today and I'm afraid I won't be able to train you three today. But I found another Junin who gladly accepted to fill in the gap for me in my stead. If it's Ebisu, I swear to God all. Naruto was cut off when a petal was flicked to his head. No, it's not him, Naruto-kun, a feminine voice said. A female Junin appeared from out of the ground with her Ika Ika Paradise book in her hand, though Kakashi did admit to considering the option of having Ebisu substitute for him. Hey Ryota, Naruto greeted as he stood up off the ground. Why are you here? Isn't it obvious, Naruto-kun? Ryota replied. I'm the Junin filling in for Kakashi. Ryota smiled toothily as she approached and leaned closer toward Naruto's face. For the rest of the day I own you. Sakura didn't like the look on Ryota's face, let alone her actions. She sensed that Ryota had an ulterior motive behind volunteering to substitute for Kakashi. Ryota will be your instructor for the day, Kakashi said. I trust you'll give her the same respect as you'd give me. So long she doesn't turn into a giddy schoolgirl with a crush while around Naruto, Sakura mumbled lowly under her breath with a frown. Did you say something, Sakura? Kakashi asked. Nothing important. Sakura waved off. Kakashi shrugged. Whatever. Ciao. Kakashi shunshined from his team, leaving Ryota with the group. All right, you three. Ryota started with her open book in her hand and her face in the book. What does Kakashi usually have you guys do during your training sessions? Before hearing any reply, Ryota giggled and blushed while reading the contents of the book. She's like a female Kakashi-sensei, Sakura thought. We would do physical exercises and spar with each other, Naruto answered. How often do you guys spar with Kakashi? Ryota asked before decided to close and put her book away. Not often, Sakura answered, in fact rarely. I'm new to the group actually, Sai said, so I know nothing of this team's dynamics. Is that right? Ryota said before taking out and tying a black blindfold around her eyes. What are you doing? Naruto asked. What does it look like, Naruto-kun? Ryota said, I'm preparing for today's training session, only I'm doing this with a handicap. She can't be serious, Sakura thought as she watched the Junin finishing tying to black blindfold over her eyes. Sai narrowed his eyes, seeing that Ryota was up to something. Naruto knew not to take Ryota lightly, as in. Naruto told him about her. Without warning, Ryota speedily jumped into the air and diving straight at them. Look out, Naruto warned before the three of them jumped away from each other and from where they were standing. Ryota landed down with her fist plunged deep into the ground, forming a large crater in the process in the spot they were standing at previously. What the hell was that about? Sakura yelled. It's simple, Ryota remarked. Fight me as your lives depend on it. Isn't this rather extreme? Sakura retorted. Oh, Ryota mocked, but you said you didn't want me to turn into a giddy schoolgirl with a crush while around Naruto-kun. Sakura gulped when she saw that was busted. Leave it to the she-male to make things interesting, Sai remarked. Shut up. Sakura retorted. Ryota rushed at Sakura, who barely had time to evade her assault. The pink-haired Kunoichi parried and dodged as many of Ryota's kicks and punches as she could, but the Junin was fluid and swift in her movements and she landed a series of blows on Sakura's body before sending her flying backwards with a swing kick to her gut. Ninpo. Shouju Giga, Sai said as his 5 rhino drawing came to life and charged after Ryota. She performed a set a hand seal before the ground under the 5 rhinos split open, causing the rhinos to fall incompletely. Ryota then clasped her hands together, triggering the ground to close and crush the ink rhinos. Naruto swiftly came and swung kicked Ryota at her legs. The Junin fell to the ground as Naruto rushed to pounce on her. Ryota rolled away before making some distance away from him. I couldn't sense him, Ryota contemplated. How avoid my land detection? She sent a pulse of chakra through the ground and located Sakura and Sai, but she couldn't pick up on Naruto's presence. Where is he? Ryota wondered. Why can't I sense where Naruto-kun is standing? Naruto carefully moved closer to her, avoiding to make a sound. He got very close to her when his right sandal grazed over a small rock. Damn it! Naruto cursed, seeing his blunder. Found you, Ryota said with a smile as she flipped behind Naruto and delivered a swing kick to his head. Naruto leaned forward, allowing her feet to pass over him. She charged at him and engaged him taijutsu combat. Within Naruto's guidance, Naruto managed to defend himself against Ryota, though he didn't go on the offensive yet. Ryota used one of her earth jutsu to grab and encase Naruto's feet to the ground. However, Naruto puffed out, revealing himself to be nothing more than a cage bushin. Again, Ryota couldn't detect where he was. Seeing her distraction, Sakura pulled out her kunai and several shurikens. She ran behind one of the trees and moved to another, get close to Ryota. Just as she was about to strike the Junin, Ryota turned and performed another set of hand signs. Sakura was barely able to dodge a stream of sharp rock projectiles that were launched straight at her. A couple of those projectiles made contact and bruised of her arms and legs, whereas one punched her hard in the gut. Sakura doubled over before falling to her knees in pain. She turned to Sai and fired at him also. He managed to evade the assault as he prepared his paintbrush and stretch board. Naruto restored to his wind element and used it as an air bubble shield to deflect the rocks away from him. Kage Bushin no Jutsu, Naruto said before summoning 3 of his clones. One went to retrieve Sakura and the others went to temporarily distract Ryota. Sai painted some lions and brought them to life before sending them out against the female Junin, providing Naruto additional cover while he went for Sakura. The clone picked up and carried Sakura back to Naruto. Before reaching him, the ground caved in underneath them before sucked them into the ground. The clone tossed Sakura away as the real Naruto ran and caught her in his arms bridal style. Pull back, Naruto suggested. Sai, pull back. Sai nodded before his ink animals were destroyed. He regrouped with Naruto and the 3 of them took off into the forest. You guys won't get far. Ryota smiled as she started walking into the direction them disappeared into, giving them a head start to make some distance between her and them. Meanwhile, Naruto was still carrying Sakura with Sai following next to him. They ran for a few minutes before coming to a stop to catch their breaths. The blonde put Sakura down before she took a moment to heal herself. Though her medic skills weren't up to par where she would like them to be, it would have to do to at least make the pain subside. Ryota-san's method of training is rather unique, Sai said. She nearly caught us off guard with the mannerism she presented herself as earlier. She's a ninja, Naruto said. Deception is all part of the life we live, yes. Sakura was done healing herself. We can't just go all out on her, Sakura said. She'll crush us before we could even get near her. So what do we know about Ryota-san? Sai asked. She's a high A-class Junin who specialized in Earth-type jutsus and she has an affinity for Earth, Naruto explained. She has insane strength similar to Tsunade no Bachan's and her self-imposed blindness doesn't hinder her ability to fight against many opponents. Is that all? Sai asked. And she's an open pervert frowned upon by other kunoichis, Sakura added. So what's the plan of action against her? Sai asked. Stealth, Naruto suggested. Another fact about Ryota is that she's an excellent tracker and she doesn't need her eyes to see, as we all saw. How could she be able to fight us without having the ability to see where we are? Sakura asked. Sakura-chan, I thought you of all people would have known that a physical handicap doesn't mean that one still can't become a ninja, Naruto replied. Lee is living proof of that. Oddly enough, Sakura felt bad about being chided by Naruto for her bit of ignorance. She uses another means to see, as Sai realized. That's right, Naruto confirmed. She uses her earth affinity to detect and locate targets through seismic vibrations from ground. Her feet are her eyes. That was why she was able to find you both. But she had a harder time finding you though, Sakura pointed out. Why couldn't she find you as easily? That's because I'm her exactly opposite, Naruto said. Whereas she's earth and I'm wind. I resort to using my wind affinity to levitate me just enough off the ground, and using my chakra I glide on the air molecules above the ground without touching to surface, thus leaving her completely blind to my whereabouts. Sai and Sakura thought the idea was pure genius and absolutely cunning. When did Naruto become this smart? Sakura thought before she asked. When did you start training with wind element? If anything, ninjas with an affinity for wind are rare from what I heard. Aren't I full of surprises? Naruto grinned. Aren't you modest? Sakura snorted. Anyway, Naruto returning back to the topic at hand, Ryota will be coming here soon and we have to ambush and subdue her. So what's the plan? Sai asked. Elsewhere, Ryota was walking through the forest in search of Naruto and his team with the black blindfold still tied around her eyes. 12 minutes went by and she didn't locate them yet. Not that she had a problem doing so, but she was seeking to make it more fun for her own amusement. As she continued her trek through the forest, she picked up on seismic vibrations traveling through the ground. However, it wasn't coming from the direction Naruto and his other 2 teammates went into. It was coming from behind her and it was traveling toward her fast. Judging from its speed, the source of the vibration would reach her in less than a few minutes. As it came closer, Ryota sensed a form of familiarity with the vibration her body was picking up on. After a few moments, she managed to identify the source of the vibration. Ryota stood her ground with her back still facing the intruder who now appeared a couple of feet behind her. It's been while, Ryota said, hasn't it? Indeed it has, Ryota, the intruder replied. It took me a while to find and track you down. I'm no longer part of Iwa, Ryota stated. I hope that's clear, Tsuchiko. I know that's what you would like to believe, Tsuchiko said, but I have my orders from the new Tsuchikage. You are to be returned back to Iwa. I'm afraid that's not possible, Ryota said. I'm a citizen and shinobi of Konoha now. All ties I had with Iwa have been severed by the previous Tsuchikage after he officially dismissed and removed me as one of Iwagakure's ninjas. Your new cage has no authority over me. And even if he did, it doesn't change the fact that I have no interest in going back to Iwa. Like it or not, Tsuchiko retorted, I have my orders. Ryota walked off from Tsuchiko. Tell your presiding Tsuchikage that I won't be seeing Iwa or him at all. Though I don't like it any more than you do, Tsuchiko replied, I've been charged to have you return to Iwa. The earth manipulator didn't get far when her ears heard the sound of electricity being generated. Ryota removed her blindfold and turned to see Tsuchiko forming a lightning armor to surround her body. By force if necessary, Tsuchiko stated as Ryota get ready for the coming fight. Meanwhile, Naruto, Sakura and Sai were all in their assigned positions waiting for Ryota to make her appearance. 15 minutes passed and there still was no sign of Ryota. Where is she? Sakura asked quietly. She should have been here by now. Your Henjid cage bushins must have been taken out, Sai said. No, Naruto disagreed. I would have known if they were. Ryota still hasn't intercepted them yet. I find that hard to believe considering her ability to detect seismic activity, Sakura remarked. Naruto was about to say something when his mind received new information. Ryota's in trouble, Naruto said with urgency. She's being attacked. So she finally found your cage bushins, Sai said. No, Naruto replied. That's not it. They found her and she being attacked by an enemy ninja from Iwa. The three of them took off from the trees and followed Naruto's lead. Tsuchiko is it, Naruto said. She's a medic ninja who specializes in lightning manipulation. She'll definitely give Ryota a hard time. Anything else you like to tell me about her? Naruto asked. In terms of rank, Naruto said. She's a high A-class Junin like Ryota, so don't underestimate her. Naruto nodded as he and his team hurried to Ryota's location. Ryota was breathing hard while catching her breath. Tsuchiko proved to be more of a problem than she anticipated. The Earth manipulator was aware that she had been away from Iwa for a number of months, but she wasn't aware of how much have changed until recently. And from what she was seeing, Tsuchiko improved tremendously in her fighting abilities. Already many of her Earth-type attacks and taijutsu were countered. Don't make this any harder than it has to be, Ryota, Tsuchiko advised. Despite our sour past, I really don't want to hurt you. Comply and follow me back to Iwa. You make sound as though you can actually hurt me that easily, Ryota replied after catching her breath. I'm not that easy to overpower. No, Tsuchiko said, but it can be done. Tsuchiko threw a barrage of shurikens at Ryota. Ryota managed to evade being struck by the shuriken as they hit the surrounding trees. Your aim is lousy, Ryota mocked. It wasn't you I was aiming for, Tsuchiko replied as she now focused her lightning element. She then shot beams of lightning out of her hands and at the shurikens embedded into the trees surrounded Ryota. What the hell? Ryota exclaimed before she was battered with lightning stabs. Ryota screamed loudly from the assault that she found herself unable to escape from the attack. When the assault ended, Ryota fell to her knees while holding herself. She sustained many injuries and wounds, but other than that she was still alive. Damn it, Ryota gritted while bearing the immense pain. You may not that easy to overpower, but like I said, Tsuchiko said, it can be done. There was a loud roar of a lion that caught Tsuchiko off guard. She was tackled to the ground by what she found to be a black and white painting of a lion trying to devouring her. Naruto and Sakura hurried over to Ryota to check on her condition. Sakura, get her to the hospital, Naruto said. Hurry while I help Sai deal with the intruder. Naruto made a cage bushin to aid Sakura with the task. Sai and I will catch up with you later. Ryota isn't going anywhere, Tsuchiko said before destroyed the ink beast with one of her kunais. She kicked into the air and flipped back up onto her feet. Tsuchiko had a claw mark injury in her left arm and shoulder. Ryota is to be brought back to Iwa, Tsuchiko said, by order of the Tsuchikage. That's not going to happen, Naruto replied. Ryota is part of Konoha now and you're trespassing. Who are you, boy? Tsuchiko asked. The name is Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, Naruto replied, and I'd be careful at whom you're calling a boy. Tsuchiko's eyes widened and then narrowed. Did you say Namikaze? Tsuchiko asked, as in, the son of the Yellow Flash. I am, so what of it? Naruto said. So the Yellow Flash had a son after all, Tsuchiko said. Yes, his features stand out quite clearly when I look at your face. Well, your face is going to be planted into the ground in a minute, Naruto replied. You'll pay for hurting Ryota. Tsuchiko thought about fighting Naruto briefly until, I better retreat and report back to the Tsuchikage about these new predicaments, Tsuchiko contemplated. If I keep fighting, it'll draw more reinforcement from Konoha, which will result my eventual capture. I may have failed my mission in retrieving Ryota with these new changes of events, Tsuchikage said, but I'm sure we'll meet again, Naruto. Tsuchiko shunshined from the scene and left the group where they were. Looks like I scared her off, Naruto smirked. Indeed you have, Naruto-kun, Sai said with his fake smile. You are quite a dreadful sight when you want to be. Come on, let's help get Ryota to the hospital, Naruto suggested. 2 hours later, after Ryota was brought to the hospital, Naruto and Sai went and reported the incident to Tsunade while Sakura stayed behind at the hospital. The Slug Princess wasn't at all surprised that what happened took place, but she saw that it wasn't worth creating a bigger international incident in spite of the offense. After the debriefing, Naruto and Sai left the tower and headed to the hospital. When they arrived there, they found Sakura and inquired of Ryota's condition. Ryota's injuries weren't life-threatening, Sakura assured. She'll make a full recovery and be back on her feet in 2 days. That's good to hear, Naruto said, though I'm sure Ryota is upset about how things turned out. Well, Sakura suggested, the day isn't over yet, Naruto. We can still find things to do. That's nice and all, but, Sai said as he turned and walked off, I think I'll leave. What? Naruto retorted, where do you think you're going? Since Kakashi-sensei isn't here and Ryota-san is temporarily decommissioned, Sai elaborated, I figured we have the rest of the day to do our own thing. Frankly, there's this painting that I was working earlier that I want to go back to finishing. Now if you two will please excuse me. Before Naruto could say another word, Sai dismissed himself from his team. Well, at least he wasn't a jerk about not want to hang with us for the rest of the day, Naruto admitted. I guess it'll be just the two of us for the rest of the day, Naruto, Sakura said. So what would you like to do? Are you trying to turn this into a date, Sakura-chan? Naruto teased. Don't be stupid, Naruto, Sakura replied, though a faint blush appeared on her face. Since I have nothing to do today at the hospital and Tsunade-sama is too busy to teach me, I figured that you'd want some company. Specifically yours, you mean, N. Naruto remarked. Specifically yours, you mean, Naruto repeated. Is there anything wrong with me wanting to spend my free time with you? Sakura asked with her arms crossed over her. No, nothing at all, Naruto said. I didn't have anything planned for the day since we were supposed to be in training. So let's go and train, Sakura said as she grabbed Naruto by the arm and hauled him out of the hospital. It was a bit of a while before Sakura and Naruto arrived at the next available training ground, that one being surrounded by trees and a lake. Okay, Naruto, Sakura said, we'll spar together, one-on-one. No ninjutsu of any sort. And none of that developing super strength either, Naruto added. That's not a ninjutsu, Sakura retorted. It's a special form of chakra concentration through my body and into my fists. Anything to give herself the advantage, Naruto acknowledged sourly. Whatever, Naruto replied. Fine, no ninjutsu. Naruto got into a fighting stance and Sakura, standing 8 feet from him, got into a fighting stance also. A moment later, Naruto charged at Sakura and Sakura charged at him with a kunai in hand. Naruto slid and ducked down, aiming his attack at her feet. Sakura barely evaded the attack as she jumped over his sliding leg. Using wind manipulation, Naruto blasted Sakura off her feet and down onto the ground face down. 1 point to me, Naruto grinned as he stood back up. Sakura got back up though she was feeling sore with a bit of dirt and grass in her mouth and face. I'm not so sure that's edible, Sakura-chan, Naruto joked. Sakura spat the grass and dirt out of her mouth and gave Naruto a menacing glare. You're dead, Naruto. Sakura screamed as she rushed at him with chakra being focused into her fists. All the while, Sai was back in his apartment continuing with the painting he was working on earlier. It was an abstract painting he decided to do after seeing an old painting from an art book the other day. Sai-san, a masculine voice spoke from the window. Sai turned to see a masked Root Anbu standing by the window. Yes, Sai replied, is there something Danzo-sama requires? Danzo-sama heard about the encounter that occurred with the Kunoichi from Iwa, the Root Anbu. Yes, Sai said, Naruto-kun and I gave a full report about it earlier today. But since the enemy Kunoichi retreated with Ryota-san sustaining non-fatal injuries, Tsunade decided not to pursue any actions against Iwa. Yes, the Root Anbu said, Danzo-sama is very well aware of that. But with Iwa soon learning of Naruto's heritage, there's a high possibility that it'll attract their attention. If it'll move them to any form of action is yet to be known for now. What does Danzo-sama intend to do? Sai asked. For now, the Root Anbu answered, he intends to keep his objectives quiet until further notice. His orders to you is to continue your training and report anything you believe should require his attention. Sai wordlessly nodded before the Root Anbu shunshined away from his sight. Without saying anything else, Sai just went back to his painting. Back at the training ground, Sakura was holding her sore and bruised right arm while catching her breath. So far her clothes were dirty, her hair was a mess and she had a couple of injuries to tend to. Sakura-chan, Naruto said, do you yield or are you ready to go another round? Damn it, Naruto, Sakura cursed, I'll get you back for this. So far, Naruto had kept up in evading Sakura's enhanced punches and kicks while delivering blows of his own. While under Naruto's guidance, Naruto made no attempt to go soft on his teammate. Sorry if I was a little rough with you, Sakura-chan, Naruto said, but I felt obligated to return the favor after the last time we sparred. Sakura thought back to when she last sparred with Naruto and how she brutalized him and leaving him for Kakashi to bring to the hospital for treatment. The pink-haired genin recalled how a few days later Ino exposed to her face how Sakura used the sparring session as an excuse to vent her jealous rage against Naruto for how Ryota was acting around him. Sakura-chan, your face is all red, Naruto pointed out as he looked closer, are you ill? Snapping out of her spaced-out trance, Sakura realized how close Naruto's face was to hers. I'm fine, you baka, Sakura replied, and I'm not ill either. So why is your face all red? Naruto asked, does being close to me now makes your face change color like Hinata's? Baka, Sakura retorted before pushing Naruto away, when did you become full of yourself? I'm not, Naruto replied, I just couldn't miss the chance to tease you again. Whatever, Sakura huffed, anyway I think we sparred enough for the day and I'm an absolute mess. Thankfully it's nothing a little shower and rest can't fix. I guess you'll want to head on home and get cleaned up, Naruto figured as she shrugged, come on I'll drop you off. I'm not ready to go home yet, Sakura argued, we still have time to do other things together, right? We do, Naruto agreed, but I really don't have much on ideas of what else we can do. When I was spending my day with Hinata the other day, I did things she enjoys doing. I'll admit they were rather fun. Sakura's felt a vein pop in her head as her right eye twitch a few times upon hearing Naruto's comments on how his time with Hinata was entertaining. I understand, Naruto, Sakura said, I'm boring to you. I'm sure if it were Hinata in my place you'd find loads of things to do with her that you couldn't do with me. No, I'm not saying that, Sakura-chan. Naruto panicked, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. It's just what, Naruto? Sakura asked. I don't know what girls find entertaining, Naruto admitted, I really don't know what you, Hinata, Ino or any other girl find amusing and fun. All of you have different likes and dislikes. I might find something that I like doing but it might turn out to be something dumb to the rest of you. I really don't know what to do. Smooth moves, Prince Charming, Naruto remarked in sarcasm. When Sakura thought about it, she found that Naruto was telling the truth. Considering the kind of life he lived through over the years, she found that she couldn't realistically expect him to know a lot about what girls find fun, exciting, and downright pleasing. I suppose I did come down on you a little too hard, Sakura said. I overreacted. Wait, I have an idea. What? Naruto asked. Well, Sakura grinned, since you openly admitted that you're a helpless and clueless guy with no knowledge or experience in romance whatsoever, I can educate you on what guys can do to woo and win a girl's heart. Leave it to me, Naruto. I'll help you succeed in having understanding and experience in romance. Yeah, right. And Naruto remarked cynically. She failed to even succeed in her own pursuit of romance, the hypocrite. Here's my advice to you. You're better off heading to the library and reading up on dating and romance, little brother. I can even help you point out the books you can have your Kage Bushin study and read up on. But most importantly, little brother, when romancing a girl, the best thing you can do is to just be yourself, not be stupid. Well, Sakura-chan, Naruto suggested, I really appreciate your open-mindedness to my needs. But maybe we should head to the library or the bookstore to see if there are any books we can find that can help us in that subject. I'm sure we can find something there for you too. What's that supposed to mean? Sakura asked. You said that you wanted to help me in being more romantic with a girl, Naruto replied with a shrug, so I figured that you'd want to read up on how you can become more feminine with a guy. What was that? Sakura screamed as she charged and ran after Naruto. Naruto ran and took to flight back to Konoha with a red-faced Sakura hot on his trail. Get back here, you jerk, Sakura yelled. I'll teach you how to talk respectfully to a girl. I was just giving my honest opinion in what I felt you needed improvements on, Naruto replied, and I'm not a jerk. Though you aren't very tactful in your choice of words to girls, little brother, Naruto snickered, but you're honest at the very least. So it's a start. Elsewhere, on the outskirts of Konoha, two Anbu ninjas were on guard. While on post, another Anbu shunshined and appeared in front of them and walked over to them. That Anbu in particular hadn't been seen for a long time. The estranged Anbu took out his badge and ID and presented them to the two Anbu ninjas on guard. After examining the badge and ID, they granted him access without trouble, and the second Anbu escorted him into the village via secret passage. 12 minutes later, in the Hokage Tower, Tsunade was at her desk taking a break from her paperwork when a knock came at the door. Yes, Tsunade said before the door opened, revealing the estranged Anbu and his escort. Seeing who it was, Tsunade nodded to the escort, signaling that it was okay for him to leave. After he shunshined, Tsunade was now left alone with the estranged Anbu. It's been years, Weasel, Tsunade said. Never in my days did I think I'd ever see you step foot in this village again. Circumstances have changed, Anbu, Weasel, replied as calmly and stoic as ever. That being the case, I had no choice but to return, though I don't exactly have a home to return to. Tsunade then said, that can be taken care of. Now, remove your mask. The Anbu did as instructed and removed the weasel mask off his face, revealing the face many in Konoha hadn't seen in the last couple of years. Welcome back to Konoha, Tsunade said, Uchiha Itachi.